Drugs take the pain away. Sometimes I wanna run away. I wish there was another way. Tomorrow is another day. Drugs take the pain away. Sometimes I wanna run away.
See, I don't know you at all, but I'm bout it. If you bout it, don't give a fuck if you're involved, cause I'm bout it. If you bout it, yeah. Don't act like you are doing a favor, but honestly I swear you're my savior, girl. And I don't know if I'll see you later, so I'm bout it. If you bout it, yeah. My head has been spinning, I might need a minute. I've been dying to kick it, so just come with if you with it. And this game that we're playing, you want me but won't say it. If I told you I'm leaving, you would be so devastated. Oh, and I don't want no bullshit excuse, like you ain't got no time for me, as if that shit was true. Just tell me how it is, how you want it. If you're down, wanna summit, I got plans and you're one of them. Not trying to pretend. See, I don't know you at all, but I'm bout it. If you bout it, don't give a fuck if you're involved, cause I'm bout it. If you bout it, yeah. Don't act like you are doing a favor, but honestly I swear you're my savior, girl. And I don't know if I'll see you later, so I'm bout it. If you bout it, yeah.
Hold up, did you really think I'm bad it? Say she wanna leave, but it's way too crowded. But I'll vibe with you, I'm playing games, I ain't trying to lose. And if I take you back, I'ma kiss your neck. I could be your now, I could be your next. I could be the one to relieve your stress when we talk about sex. She unzip that dress, bless. Maybe one day I could take it, give it to me, cause I'm tired of waiting. I'm like the latest, #1 play on your playlist. Don't trip if these other girls play it. And I don't like to fight, you're the type that I'd like to wife. Guy feeling like life is nice, at the movies eating Mike and Ike's. And if the price is right, then I guess I'm bout it.
See,
Yeah.
I don't know you at all, but I'm bout it. If you bout it, don't give a fuck if you're involved, cause I'm bout it. If you bout it, yeah. Don't act like you are doing a favor, but honestly I swear you're my savior, girl. And I don't know if I'll see you later, so I'm bout it. If you bout it, yeah.
Champagne for breakfast, first things first, never put you second. Girl, don't be stressing, I forgot to mention I'm bad about it, don't be offended. I fucks with you cause you're down to earth. Got an ounce of perp if you're down to burn. You got a plan and you're still in school, or you got a man but that shit is cool, right? And if you like, you can stay for the night. Don't stay for the love, don't stay for the life. Know my name, then say it to me twice. Let me hear that shit, let me see that shit. You could be the one if you wanted to, or you got games, you could keep that shit. Girl, come and let me know what you wanna do.
Be who you wanna be. I will not blame you. Do what you wanna do. Don't wanna play you. If you would come with me, then I would take you anywhere you want to go. Yeah. Even if you're looking for the one, and I couldn't be him, you'd be sure to see in that I won't just go and take home anyone. I'm about you, girl. See, I don't know you at all, but I'm bout it. If you bout it, don't give a fuck if you're involved, cause I'm bout it. If you bout it, yeah. Don't act like you are doing a favor, but honestly I swear you're my savior, girl. And I don't know if I'll see you later, so I'm bout it. If you bout it, yeah.
niggas must have forgot their alphabet. Let me explain. Here it goes. A is for ambition. Be what I wanna be. See past the situation that's in front of me. Doubters and enemies. F we say fuck them. The irony is they inspire me to love them. G is past go when ignite the cash flow. When H is put your heart in whatever's your last hope. I is fire, but two light the fire. So we be the streets' #1 supplier. And J is for them Jordans for my niggas when I make it. Give me 2 of those strange no-name kicks. Earth, wind, and fire type. Elemental beast that resembles me, and it accounts for LMNOP. Cue the track up like, are you impressed? Get your bread, kid, but never let it go to your head. That's S for success, to be the best. T is teach back what you learn, that's next. Cause you got the power, B for voluntary action. W is right out to life with a passion. X is expect to fail, why cease to dream? Even when you ain't catching them Z's, and that's the alphabet.
For so long, been surviving for so long. I know that good days will come. I've been trying for so long, been surviving for so long. I know that good days will come, they will come.
Yo, think they starting to follow me. So A is to attempt to be the change you wanna see, and D is to be different. But tell us what you mean. Like, are you one of them good guys, or you one of us fiends? Either way, you gotta eat. Elevate your mind right, cause F is for the fine life, and that's how you define life. But I say G is get back to your home, and H is help the people that done help to along. Oh yeah, fuck it, we gon' back to F, cause that's for freedom. G is keep your good thoughts, cause buddy, you gon' need them. And H is if your hood stars, buddy, you gon' feed them. Cause it's bad enough when niggas get the check and get to leaving. J is for them jump offs, we wanted as kids. Looking through the glass, seeing the life we wanna live in. M is more money, more problems, and N-O is no P's, and that's pessimistic profits. Q, quit thinking, and R, you still with me, and S is stress less, and T is to infinity. U is that it's all about you, and that's why a nigga fucked around and left out I. VW is very wise, and X is this exam, but why lie? You got zip if you ain't got fam, and that's the alphabet.
For so long, been surviving for so long. I know that good days will come. I've been trying for so long, been surviving for so long. I know that good days will come, they will come. Trying for so long, been surviving for so long. They will come. Trying for so long, been surviving for so long. They will come. Trying for so long, been surviving for so long. I know that good days will come, they will come.
If my songs go pop, 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 what makes you think I'm not okay with that? I took my backpack off, ready to change the game and run the track. Y'all thinking I'ma fall off? I'm Thomas the Engine, 2 seconds you get your rocks off. That's right, I said you're all soft. So I paint over the scene like I'm Bob Ross. I got weed songs, if you smoke good. I got peace songs, hope you ain't so hood that you can't kick it, get it, have a party. Oh shit, homie, don't hurt nobody. Let your knees drop while the beat rock. Need my scheme seem something like P-Rock. You gotta hit the G-spot, life's too short like an Ewok. Live it, let your nerves shake while the earthquake. Do the bird like it's purple rain. Now say something stupid about girls and drinks, and slur your words and sip on Chardonnay. Now roll some up. What you waiting for? Roll some up. Eyes low if you roll like us. So when I say so, everybody jump, jump. Dream to a million, but we don't chase cream, so we feed it to the children. Paint new faces on the canvas as I write classic poems like Sanskrit. Epic, 3 letters, don't forget it. Pronounce soul, but I got soul in excess. The next best to the best, but the best ain't rain yet. So I guess we all kings, yes. A rising tide will raise all boats, but if you throw stones, nobody floats. Negativity breeds nothing but ills. That's why I paint the perfect picture with the team that I build. Say.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. This is the Fan Report. I'm Andrew. That's Nick. And we are a show by fans for fans.
Damn. You don't even let me get involved? The fuck,
I'm
bro?
not used to doing the 5 fans part, man. That was new to me.
This is the fan report where it's by fans. 4 fans, I
There
guess.
you
He's not
go.
even gonna pick it up that time either. Fuck, this guy's all over the place.
I would have been 66% you, 33%. I mean, 66% me, 33% you. If
we're still missing a whole
it
percent.
would have been 75% me, 25% you.
We
So
would still be missing a whole percent on 66-33. Where's that 1%?
I just said 75. No, you get 66.666 and 33.333.
We're still missing
You
.0001.
son of a bitch. Anyway.
Anyways, guys.
I promise we're not drunk for this show.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. So, hope we got a good show planned for you guys, because we think we do. So, topics over there. My boy's taking off his jacket while he's staring at topics. He looks like he's about to fucking make out with them. As always, you like what you see tonight, please feel free to hit the follow button down below. Also, hit us up on Twitter. Let us know of any topics you guys want to hear tonight, tomorrow, whenever. We don't care.
Any day of any week.
Any movies you guys want us to review, we'd love to do it. We are probably going to be doing a silence review on YouTube, so keep watch out for that also. We just recently watched that movie, and man, let me tell you, it was heavy, and we liked it a lot, so we're probably going to do a review of it for you guys, so keep watch out for that. But that's all I got to say. You got anything, Dad?
Happy hump day, fellas.
Hump day! Alright, let's get it going. Alright, so we're going to kick it off with some playoffs.
Playoffs?
With some playoff talk over here, we're going to start with the NHL. As he's...
Well,
you don't know the brackets or some shit? Like, what the fuck?
I like reference.
Okay, fine.
So, anyway.
I'm always pulling up the brackets for you guys.
Let's kick it off with the Preds and Blues.
Preds and Blues. Preds 3-1 lead. No surprise, in my opinion, even though the Blues are higher seeded, the Preds are just red fucking hot. They've won 7 games in these playoffs. Lost once, and that was in this series to the Blues. I definitely did not see them getting a sweep. But I called it. I said that they were going to go up 3-1. They'll probably take care of business coming up in one of the next 2 games. I don't see this going to 7. I don't think the Blues have. I don't think the Blues have enough to turn it around on this red hot Preds team. And once again, their netminder standing on his head, leading the way for them.
Absolutely. I think the Preds are going to the Stanley Cup.
Honestly, they're a legitimate Stanley Cup threat at this point.
Because I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but I thought Anaheim was their last big threat.
Edmonton's no joke, my friend.
I know Edmonton's no joke, but
Edmonton is no joke. Watch out for that young Edmonton team. You have to understand with Edmonton is Connor McDavid has not played all that well. He's got 6 points in 9 games. That's nowhere near what his season pace was, and they're still winning games against one of the best teams in that National Hockey League. And they are continuing to show that they have other talent that's willing and able and will and has stepped up in this series and throughout the playoffs. So their biggest star not playing his best and they're still winning these games tells you right away that the rest of that team and that young team has stepped up big time. So, but back to the Preds series, I think you are kind of right about the fact that they are legitimate Stanley Cup threats. I mean, we talked about are the Preds the real deal in the past? Like in a couple, I think it was 2 weeks ago we talked about it or something last week. And we said. Yeah, anyone can
actually,
be a real
you're
deal.
right. It was 2 weeks ago.
I think it was, yeah.
Because we did draft all last week.
Right. And we said, yeah, they are because anybody is. But they are a legitimate threat to at least go to the Stanley Cup Finals now. I mean, they're just red hot. There's literally no other word to describe the Nashville Predators than just absolutely red hot. No way, no other way.
I agree that let's not kid ourselves now because they were supposed to people had him as pegged as a team taking a John Lee Ford and being a really good competitive team coming into the season, and they vastly underperformed this year.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
I mean, they were a team that you thought was going to at least make like a 2 or 3 seed in the playoffs coming in, and they end up barely sneaking in as a second wild card team. So they did underperform.
Yes, they're hitting their stride at the exact right time, but many people could argue that they're finally just playing their potential.
In my opinion, this team is just peaking at the right time. They battled all season long just to get to where they are, and they're really starting to peak now. You're starting to see their true talent coming out, and they're playing healthy, they're playing fast, and they're playing physical, and that's what you need when it comes to playoff hockey, and they're really showing it. Not to mention, again, that netminder standing on his head. And he is playing his best hockey of the season at the right time. There's no doubt about that. So we'll move on to the Ducks and Edmonton series, and we touched on that a little bit here. But again, though, the Oilers got a 2-1 lead, which I think is kind of a surprise. I thought the Ducks were going to kind of take care of business in 6 games here, maybe even 7. But but I did think the Ducks were going to pull this one out. Now, it's not over by any means.
No,
don't count the Ducks out. But Edmonton's putting up a little bit better of a fight, and one of the big reasons I did choose the Ducks in this one, not just because they are, in my opinion, a more talented team, but because, again, Connor McDavid's not playing his best. He's not playing the way he did during the regular season. But the rest of the team is showing up, and the rest of the team is playing as makeup and making up the gap that Connor McDavid isn't showing his full potential here. And it's really been the difference maker in this series, because if you go into this series and say Connor McDavid's not going to play his best hockey, you're immediately thinking Anaheim's going to take the series, no doubt. Because again, that's your best player. But you're seeing the rest of that team really step it up and really, really take control of this series, and kind of they're picking up the slack a little bit, because Connor McDavid, while yes, he's got 6 points in the series, these playoffs he's played 9 games, and that's definitely not his season pace. So
the puck was just dropped in that game. That game just started.
Yeah, that game did just start, game 4 of that one. So if Anaheim wins, let's go with this. Who do you got tonight? On the it'll be in Edmonton, I believe. Who do you got in this one?
I've been saying that I think Anaheim takes this series, but I might look at the Oilers take a 3-1 lead tonight.
Really? You know what? I will go against you, and I think Anaheim does take this game, ties it up 2-2. I think they're playing a little bit desperate tonight, because if they go down 3-1, you can pretty much close the book on the series. Tonight, is a must-win game for Anaheim. They have to win this game. So I think Anaheim puts a little bit extra into their effort tonight and gives it all and takes the W tonight. Evens up the series. I believe going back to Anaheim. I'm not 100% sure on the formatting for NHL. But either way, 2-2 series going into Game 5. I like Anaheim in that situation. But then again, though, don't count Edmonton out. And if Connor McDavid gets hot or gets back on pace, at least heats up a little bit, this series could definitely swing back in the momentum of Edmonton and stay there.
Yeah.
So, but I do think Anaheim takes it tonight. So
now, question.
Yeah.
Did you know the D in the Ducks logo is a duck foot?
Yeah. Did you not?
I just looking at it, I just kind of realized it.
Nice observation, my friend. All right, well, now that we're past the obvious aspect of the show, let's move on. Over to the Eastern Conference, we got the Rangers and Senators, and honestly, I kind of called this one from the beginning in this series. I said that I thought the Senators were going to handle the series, and they've done well so far. They went up 2-0, and then the Rangers came back on a game. You've got Game 4, I believe, either tonight or tomorrow.
Not tonight. I think
Not tonight, it's tomorrow? Okay. You got Game 4 tomorrow. It's in New York, I believe. However, Ottawa just seems like they are the team that's controlling this series. They have the momentum. They're playing good hockey. I think they go up 3-1. I think they go up 3-1 against the Rangers and then go back, and then they may even close it out in 5, maybe 6 if they're on, if it's a tough one. I do think Ottawa still controls the series. They're just playing good hockey. They're another team that's just really playing well.
I'll agree.
Net Miner's performing. That just their defense is playing physical, and that's what they need, and that's what they're getting. Now, was it this series, or was it? Oh, there was one game that I think it was this series where it just kept going back and forth. One team won like 6-5 or something like that.
I couldn't tell you.
Of
the 4 series, that's one I followed the least, so I could not tell you.
4-1 New York. 6-3 was Anaheim beating Edmonton the other night, which is a big one. 6-5. It was Ottawa, New York. So this series has quite a bit of scoring, which is something that's kind of surprising in playoff hockey. You normally see the defenses really, put the grid on, bite down, and really not let up. But you're seeing some high-scoring games in this series, which you're seeing a lot of the scorers come out and a lot of the shooters really show. That doesn't mean the defenses aren't playing well. It just means that the shooters are playing that much better. The skaters are skating faster. And it's really shown in this series that whoever's going to, control the scoring in most aspects and continue to control scoring is going to win these games.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get a lot of these goals aren't cheap goals. They're hard fought, even if they seem like little cheap ones, cheap rebounds and stuff. They're hard fought goals either way, no matter what, all throughout the playoffs. But again, though, I think Ottawa takes the series. I have no reason to believe otherwise, other than the fact that New York's came back and won on the last one 4-1. Again, scoring quite a few goals, but their defense showing up. But I think Ottawa rebounds here.
I'll agree with
takes
you.
this one.
I'll definitely agree. I think Ottawa takes a 3-1 lead in this game. I didn't have much confidence in the Rangers going in. I mean, they are just a wild card team.
They are just a wild card team, but so is Nashville.
So is Nashville.
So is Nashville.
But Nashville's my dark horse pick. So
and
I gotta
see, the thing is with the Rangers,
there.
though, is they were a very good team going, and a lot of people do like the Rangers to actually win this series still. I don't. I think Ottawa's got enough control and enough of a momentum situation here that it's going to carry over and propel them on. Plus, again, though, this series has become such a crapshoot with the amount of goals scored that you really never know. And I think Ottawa's favored in that scenario in a high-scoring shootout. So I like them there. But moving on to our last series over in the Eastern Conference, we've got the one that's now become really, really interesting.
Yes.
And that's the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh's got a 3-1 lead. However, Sidney Crosby's hurt. He sustained his...
What was that, however?
However, Sidney Crosby has sustained his 5th concussion of his NHL career. 5th. That's a lot. 5 concussions.
You're getting Javid Best territory there.
You're beyond Javid Best territory. He had 4 in his career.
He had 2 in college.
He had 2 in college and 2 in the NFL.
Okay.
He had 4. Sidney Crosby has now had 5. And I believe it's in a shorter span than Javid Best had them also. And so you don't know if Sidney Crosby's going to be able to play. You don't even know if he's coming back at all in these playoffs. He may be done through halfway through next year like he was a few years ago. You didn't see him for half the year. That may be another scenario like that with this one. All depends on how his body and his brain reacts to this.
Yeah.
Now, was it a cheap shot? Should the player had been suspended? I don't know if you saw the hit. We can pull it up right now. Okay, he was hit in the back of the head with a stick. Whoops. I don't know why I just typed NHL star. Sidney Crosby hit. Well, just call it the hit. Now, he is ruled out for Game 4, so I think I'm going to go with Washington here. Then again, though, Pittsburgh may be playing mad, and they may want to get back.
See, I would have gone with Washington in Game 5.
Game 5.
I would have gone with Washington in Game 5 regardless because they're a team playing on the brink. And they're not that much worse than Pittsburgh.
See, but they're not a playoff performing team. That's where I would say Pittsburgh wins us in 5.
They have a
history.
history.
Not performing in the playoffs.
History. Of
now let's see if this is gonna play for me. Okay, we're gonna do an ad one.
Some moments are worth the journey.
Shut that off real quick. So you guys don't have to hear the ad, but. Sidney Crosby going down is so huge for this team because he's the captain. He's the leader of this team. He's going to be the guy that now. Watch the hit for me real quick, just see what you're looking at. But basically, he initially was.
I don't think they're going to show the hit in this video, man.
Are they going to show it?
You were better off going to YouTube, brother.
Yeah, probably. I guess so. Okay. I saw it. Let's see if this is going to be it. Nope. Is this going to be it? Just mute it. There we go. Nope, that's not going to be it. Okay, I'm just going to YouTube. All right, but basically, when he was charging the net, a player came up behind him and cross-checked him in the back of the head with a stick. So he basically went up, hit him in the back of the head with a stick. He started to go down. Well, no, he didn't cross-check him in the back of the head. He kind of swiped at his head a little bit. I don't know. That didn't look purposeful. Now, that didn't look like he hit him on purpose. It's that one up there. Whoops. Up top.
They're both the same one.
Okay, let's mute the video. Okay. Now... It didn't really... Okay, this is a shit video.
That's what I'm saying. The other one looked like
that was the one you clicked on.
No, that.
Okay, but basically, it didn't look like the first initial hit was all that, all that meaningful. See that in the back of the head there? That didn't look that bad. His swinging a stick around, he just hit him in the back of the head. Then Crosby
replay of it?
Started to go down. Crosby started to go down, and then the cross check came in from behind and nailed him in the back of the head. That's where you saw him really go down. That's where he sustained the concussion. Go ahead. Sorry. But it did look dirty in that aspect there. There's your replay. But they're not even going to give him a hearing. They're not going to review it at all. I think they should. I thought that second hit was a little bit dirty. I didn't like it. That one right there. I didn't like that hit. That's not a hockey hit. That's dangerous right there. Because right here you'll see the swing at the back of the head. Sorry for hitting the microphone. And then you'll see him, boom, lower.
Well,
yeah.
His momentum was really going into
him. His momentum was going into him, but he hit him in the head. That's where I don't like. He raised his hands up to hit him in the head, and he cross-checked him in the head. Yes, momentum is taking him into the player, but you don't need to raise your hands and stick into someone's head. So in that aspect, that's where I say you got to at least discipline the guy for 1 to 3 games, even in the playoffs. At bare minimum, you need to suspend the guy for 1 game. Now, I'm not a big fan of suspensions when it comes to playoffs. I'm not. I think they're wrong. I don't like them at all. However, in this situation, you're talking about a guy's life at hand here. You're talking about a guy's his being able to walk in the future, being able to talk and even live in the future. That's where I start drawing the line. When you start going at a guy's head, that's dangerous. That becomes from the territory of being illegal to the sport to dangerous for the sport. And that's where I think that this one right here, I think they need to review this and probably suspend him because it did look kind of dirty in my opinion. It did look like they were targeting Sidney Crosby a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, that's what changes the series though. Sidney Crosby going down takes your best player off Pittsburgh. Now, Evgeny Malkin can step in. Pittsburgh has plenty of guys that can and have stepped into that role before and taken control and been important. Is it enough? Or do they have a good enough lead, and do the talent that they have that's going to step in, is that enough for them to win this series and move on to the next?
I'd say they just need 1 game. The next they need to win 1.
See, now you're forgetting that Pittsburgh is still a very good team without Sidney Crosby. Evgeny Malkin's
that's what I'm
still
saying.
legit.
Considering they just need to win 1 game, I think they can get it done.
I think they get it done in 5, maybe 6. I still think they.
If we were talking, this is still
here.
like a 1-1 series, then yeah.
If it was a 1-1 series, it definitely would be more interesting and definitely would be a lot closer. I still think Pittsburgh pulls this off in 5, maybe 6. I don't even think it goes 7. But it definitely hurts their opportunities for the rest of the playoffs. Now, I picked them to be my Stanley Cup champion, and if Sidney Crosby is out for an extended period of time, I'm going to have to change that due to the fact that he, you lose your best player, you lose the catalyst of your team. That's a huge blow, and most teams can't recover from that.
You gonna hop on my dark horse pick?
I don't know. I want to see what happens in the Ottawa. I want to see what happens in that Ducks Oilers series before I take the Predators. But Predators definitely are the hottest team right now.
You can't just sit and wait around. If you say you have to change your pick, you gotta change your pick.
Well, I gotta still find out if fucking Sidney Crosby's coming back. So I gotta wait around for that. I still like the Penguins if Crosby comes back. The nice thing is, it looks like some of these series are going to be extended, so you're going to see the Penguins possibly get a decent enough break here that allows them to, that allows Crosby to kind of get his head straight and get his things in order, get to skating and working his way back to the ice as quickly as possible. So that could work in their favor, but. Definitely a worrisome thing to something you got to worry about if you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan going into this one. So, but let's switch over to basketball here. Let's start in the West.
I want to start talking about San Antonio first.
Really, you want to go with 2-3? They got blown out by Houston in Game 1.
It's happening right now.
It is happening right now. But in Game 1, San Antonio got blown out. They could not stop James Harden, and they could not stop the 3-ball. The 3-ball is what killed San Antonio. Now, we've seen teams live and die by the 3 before, but not like that. That was truly living and dying by the 3.
Now,
and it paid off, obviously.
What percentage of possessions was Kawhi Leonard on James Harden in that game?
That I don't know. I didn't pay that close attention to it, but...
That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
I was not able to watch that game.
I'd love to see Kawhi Leonard on James Harden, but the thing that we're kind of missing here is I don't see that as a possible matchup to happen very much, just because of the fact that James Harden plays the 1 or the 2. Kawhi Leonard will always play the 3. You'll always see him play the 3, and James Harden.
Yeah, but he can guard whatever position he wants.
He can guard. It's not that. It's you're then taking the risk of putting your 1 or 2 on a small forward, which will be abused all day. So you are taking that big risk there because Trevor Reese is not
what you would want to do is
play a bigger lineup.
No, you would put your 1 on the. If let's say James Harden was playing the 1.
Right.
You'd put your 1 on the 2, you'd put Kawhi on James, and then you would put your 2 guard on the 3.
Still got big size mismatch there because Trevor Reese is not exactly small at the 3. And your 2, who's their starting 2?
He's a pretty big 3-point threat. But
yes, he is. Who's their starting 2? I can't remember.
I thought it was Harden. Isn't Patty Beverly still the starting 1? Or is he
yes, it is Harden. So you would have basically Manu Ginobili probably getting the most minutes of the 2 would be covering Trevor Ariza, which that is a mismatch all day.
He comes off the bench.
I know, but he's getting a lot of their minutes. Spurs starting 5. Let's see their starting 5 real quick. Depth chart. You've got Danny Green.
Yeah.
So, okay, Danny Green on Ariza is not that bad. It's really not that bad of a matchup there because Danny Green's a solid defender.
Yeah, he's got some size.
But
he does have
some size,
3.
but he does play the 3 a lot. He did last year a lot. But I still don't know that I like the matchup of switching those matchups around. Really bother me, especially if you start playing James Harden at the 1. Then you got massive matchup problems for the Spurs all over the floor. So I worry about it a little bit. I that's why you're probably not seeing Kawhi Leonard on James Harden all that much. You can see it, but regardless if you put Kawhi Leonard on James Harden will still score and do James Harden type things. You still need to draw a double team at some point. You still need to put a lot of concentration. He will still get dribble penetration. I know Kawhi Leonard's good and a great defender. James Harden's a better offender. He's a better he's a better offensive player than James Harden. Than Kawhi Leonard is a defensive player. He makes things, and this game is an offensive game.
So then you're saying if the Spurs don't have an answer for Houston, do you see them pull this series out there?
I do, because I think San Antonio buckles down and plays more physical. I think they have to. I think they need to body James Harden a little bit. I think they need to,
He's not a very physical player.
No, you're right. He's not a physical player, and that's what's going to bother him. Kawhi Leonard needs to play physical defensively. You need to see more of that. You need to see Danny Green play Ariza physically. You also need to, in my opinion, I think San Antonio needs to close out on the threes better. They're getting too many open threes.
If you want to score up there in that game, San Antonio's up 61-48.
Okay, so they do have a good lead here. But San Antonio needs to really close out on the threes, get a hand in some of these shooters' faces, and stop them from getting those wide open threes that we saw in Game 1. And you do that, they're not going to hit most of them, which they did do in Game 1. They hit most of their threes. So if that happens where they're not hitting them, they're going to lose. You're going to win. San Antonio is going to win these games. So I don't like teams, unless they're the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry, who can shoot anywhere on the floor, and Klay Thompson does the same thing, and Kevin Durant. Unless they're a team like that who literally can shoot anywhere, I don't like teams that are 3-point shooting teams. I don't know that Houston has. I know Houston does not have the same type of shooter and the same caliber shooter that Golden State has. They do have some shooters, but they have streaky shooters on that team. But they're very streaky. Harden's not the most efficient player ever. It does miss a lot of threes, and so does Ariza. Eric Gordon, again, is a guy who we've seen shoot 10 of 12 and also 1 of 16 this year. A lot. He's very streaky also, and he's probably their second or third best 3-point shooter. So you're seeing guys that are playing maybe a little bit above their caliber in Game 1. Playing better than they probably should and what the numbers say. So if you're going to be a team like Houston that's going to live and die in the 3, you got to find another way to score and another way to make things happen, because you will most of the time die by the 3. You don't have the caliber shooter that Golden State has. You don't. And Golden State even dies by the 3 at times. So you're going to see Houston die more by the 3. Now, do I condone them stopping what they did in Game 1? No, I think they should continue to do it. It worked. That's how you're going to beat a team like San Antonio, because you can't really play physical on the perimeter. You have to, you can't. You're going to get called for ticky-tack fouls and put yourself in foul trouble, especially for Kawhi Leonard. That's a problem right there. So it's definitely important for them to play tight, but not overly physical on the perimeter, but definitely play tight enough to really close out on no open shots. That's what Popovich has got to preach. No open shots at this point, because if you stop their shooters, you stop Houston altogether.
Which is, basketball.
Yeah, it is basketball. But again, though, there are teams that you can give a little bit of leeway when it comes to shooters. Chicago, let them shoot all day. They're not going to make very many of them. They're not a good shooting team. And I believe that's what Boston ended up doing. They forced them to go inside.
It's the same way with the Pistons. Theoretically, you stop the shooters, you destroy the whole offense. But with the Pistons, they stopped themselves because they couldn't hit a shot.
They couldn't hit a shot, exactly. A team that isn't a great shooting team, you let them shoot a little bit.
Yeah.
When it comes to a good shooting team like Golden State or Houston, stop the shooters. They're not as strong inside. Zaza Pachulia is not really an inside threat, and neither is anyone that Houston has. I mean, sure, what's his face? I can't remember his name. Clint Capella is a nice player on the inside, but he's not a force. He's not massive down there. I mean, I would take San Antonio's big men over him any day. Pau Gasol, LaMarcus Aldridge over him any day.
Of course.
So force them to take you inside. Do not let them have those open shots, and you'll win this series. And I think that's what they're going to do. I think Popovich, being the smart coach he is going to preach that. Play tight, physical man defense, and force them to throw the ball inside. That's how the San Antonio is going to win. Now,
let's assume San Antonio takes Game 2. So they split their home series.
I think they split the next year. The next
split,
one. I think you split.
So you think this is going? You think this is going to 7?
I think this could go 6 or 7. I definitely do. I think you'll see 2-2 after 4. I think you will see if one team gets a lot of momentum. If one team blows out if San Antonio blows out Houston in Game 5, this is going 6. If San Antonio doesn't blow out Houston in Game 5 but still picks up the win, this is going 7. If Houston wins a Game 5, it's going 7. I don't see a scenario where Houston wins a series in 6.
Okay.
I do see a scenario where San Antonio wins in 6.
I'll agree with you there. San Antonio definitely needs some help though. As far Kyle Leonard can't guard everybody.
No, he can't. But again, though, oh hey, what's going on, SpongeBob? I didn't even see you there.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Maybe I should be a couch then. What do you mean? A coach?
Coach. I think you had to say coach.
Okay, but San Antonio, yes, they've got guys who can defend the ball though. I mean, Danny Green's no slouch defensively. He's not a bad defender. Tony Parker's getting old. Pat Beverly again though is not an offensive threat, so it kind of works out there. SpongeBob, I think we've seen you before, so welcome back, man. But LaMarcus Aldridge, not the greatest defender. That's not really his forte, but he's not a bad defender either. And nice thing about Houston is they really don't have a big presence at the 4. Whoa, what the hell? They who is it? Ryan Anderson's their 4? Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So I mean, Ryan Anderson's good outside shooter, but LaMarcus Aldridge can cover a stretch 4. So I mean, inside presence, Clint Capela's probably more athletic because he's younger than Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol's a good player all around. So depending on the minutes he's able to play because of his age, it's going to be an interesting matchup there. But I definitely think that San Antonio takes the series in the long run in 6 or 7. I don't see it going less than that though.
Well, let's move over to the other side of the West in a not nearly as interesting series.
And it's not going to be. And it will never be. Did you see Steph Curry just straight turn around Rudy Gobert 3 times?
Spin cycle.
That was an extra spin cycle. He looked like a child defending him. A really large child. Like, it was embarrassing.
But that Utah backcourt's completely outmatched in this series.
There's not many backcourts that aren't outmatched.
Gordon Hayward's going to have to deal with Kevin Durant. He's going to be blanketed the whole time.
The
only advantage Utah has on the inside. That's
Utah does have the inside advantage with Rudy Gobert over Zaza Pachulia. However, Zaza Pachulia has really performed well for Golden State also.
However, he has so much room to operate.
However, yes, he does. However, I don't know that we've yet seen Golden State's full potential with their lineup of death, which is the Day at 5, Durant at 4, Iguodala at the 3, Clay, and Steph. If you put that lineup in, Utah's forced to take out Gobert because he will be abused all day.
Yeah,
so you're forced to take out Gobert.
They'll drag Gobert to the 3-point line, which you can't defend the perimeter for shit.
Exactly. And you will just all day abuse Utah, which, again, though, Golden State, I don't really think has to. I think they're able to win the series without doing things like that. Play their game, continue to dominate, and just let your backcourt just control the series because there's really no match. Utah has no match. Rodney Hood's a fine player offensively. He's not a great defender, in my opinion. But at the point guard position, my God, is this ever a mismatch? Dante Exum is not fantastic. He's not a good player, in my opinion. He's solid at best. But Steph Curry is arguably one of the best players in the NBA and is probably the best shooter in the NBA. So it's a big mismatch problem. And we just watched Steph Curry in a ball switch situation literally make Rudy Gobert's jockstrap fly 7 different ways. So it was embarrassing. Like it was childlike to see him flail around like an idiot. And it was hilarious to watch Steph Curry just literally not even try to get around him and does with ease.
So here's my question for you. Does Utah win a game?
Yes, I think they won 1 at home.
You think they win 1
I
at
think
home?
The series goes 5.
I think you'll see another sweep.
Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be overly surprised if you see another sweep, but I do think Utah pulls 1 out.
Don't get me wrong. I liked Utah. I picked them
too.
against the Clippers.
I did have them against the Clippers, but I did not have them against Golden State.
But moving on to the East, another game that just concluded earlier tonight. Toronto, Cleveland. Cleveland pulled out the convincing victory. Takes a 2-0 lead on Toronto.
What you are seeing with Cleveland is Cleveland coming to showing up in the playoffs.
They do it every time.
They do. And you know what it is not Tyronn Lue. I don't know what people are saying. He's got the toughest coaching job in sports because holy shit, he's got the easiest job.
It's LeBron being a beast when he wants to be a beast.
It's not just LeBron being a beast though. It's Kyrie. It's Love. It's all of them playing.
LeBron doing that opens that all up.
Yes, it does, but Kyrie did it before LeBron was there.
Because the whole defense is forced to focus on
There's
LeBron.
no doubt LeBron has made Kyrie Irving a better player.
Yeah,
because Kyrie
absolutely.
Irving's able to get some more open shots, able to do things a little more creatively, having LeBron on the floor. However, Kyrie's still, in my opinion, their best scorer. He's still, in my opinion, the guy who's your biggest threat when it comes to putting the ball in the basket. And they're showing that by allowing him to do that. And as long as those three stay healthy, I have no reason to believe that they won't, at bare minimum, sweep the series and move on to the next one and probably win the next series. They're playing out of their minds right now, and they're literally making who I thought was a very tough matchup in Toronto look like a cakewalk. They're making them look like a joke.
Yeah.
So Toronto's really kind of let me down in this. I thought Toronto would put up a better fight, so I'm definitely kind of let down.
So I'm also let down. I'm still not going to say the series is going to end the sweep, even though it's been pretty convincing wins.
Yeah, it's been very convincing.
Both double-digit
yeah,
wins.
very convincing. Granted, they're both at home for Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly.
Q,
so I definitely see Toronto taking at least one game.
Now, the big thing is, though, is right when Toronto seems to be hitting their stride with Lowry back in the lineup, he gets hurt again.
Yeah.
He had a very scary ankle injury in Game 2, which he went to the locker room, but he did come back in. However, how about tomorrow when the pain starts kicking in, the adrenaline goes away? How badly is that thing going to swell up? How badly is that going to bother him? Is he going to be able to play at 100%? Are you going to see more of the backup point guard, which is where the team was really hitting its stride going into the playoffs?
So would you see Lowry as the X factor for Toronto in the series?
Absolutely at this point. I mean, he's their best player, first off. He's their leader, their best player.
Many would argue DeRozan, but
I'd still say Lowry. He's the most versatile player on that team. He's defensive. He's a good defensive player. He's a great offensive player. He's a great passer, great scorer. DeRozan, in my opinion, is just a great scorer. He's a great shooter. DeRozan doesn't really do anything else on the floor. He doesn't pass the ball. He doesn't really rebound. He plays some okay defense or solid defense, but I think Lowry is the X factor and probably the best all-around player on that team. One guy has kind of been a letdown for me for them is Serge Ibaka. They picked up Serge Ibaka at the deadline to really be a force and give them that extra push in the playoff time, and he hasn't. I mean, he got straight up dunked on by Iman Shumpert. Straight up dunked on. And I need to see more out of him, and I need to see more out of Valanciunas also. I need to see more out of the big men because I think that's where Toronto could really set themselves apart from Cleveland. Because in my opinion, Cleveland doesn't have that strong of big men. Kevin Love's a terrible defender, and Tristan Thompson's not that great. He's really not. He's not even good in my opinion. He's overpaid.
No, definitely overpaid. I will agree with you there.
He's
100%.
He's a person who is somewhat. He's someone who is vastly taking advantage of the fact that he's playing with LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love. Put him anywhere else, I don't even know if he starts. Outside of the fact that he's got a name because he played for Cleveland.
I agree. He doesn't start anywhere else. But,
that's my point, though. Jonas Valanciunas is a good center. He needs to abuse a guy like Tristan Thompson.
I think another X factor and someone who's let me down for Toronto is PJ Tucker.
I agree with you. Again, another guy they picked up at the deadline.
He's one of the better defensive threes in the league.
And he's been abused by LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron's dropped 30-plus points in both games.
Yes.
Is he starting, though? Are they starting him in this playoffs? Because I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
Because if they're not...
Raptors starting five. That's a good question. That I don't know.
Because he's a better defender than DeMar Carroll. I don't think they should focus on winning the offensive battle there.
Now, DeMar Carroll's not a bad defender. No, he is not starting. He is not starting for them, but he is playing a decent amount of minutes. Now, he is probably the better defender than DeMar Carroll, but DeMar Carroll's not a bad defender in any sense of the word.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I'm seeing a huge problem with is when guys like DeRozan and Kyle Lowry go out of the game, it seems like they really struggle. They don't have much behind them. And Corey Joseph's not a great player, and neither is the backup two for Toronto. So they really seem to struggle when it comes to the bench play because Cleveland's one of those teams that is going to play their better players at least one or two of them is going to play at all times in the game. They have the ability to do that. They have the guys that can rotate in to be able to do that also. But problem with a team like Cleveland is you shut one of the big three down, another one shows up. And so that you're going to, whereas Toronto, you can really focus on their main two guys and Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan and shut the team down. Because if you shut Lowry down, he's not getting the ball inside Jonas Valanciunas. Shut DeRozan down, well, there's your best shooter taken out of the game. So that's why a guy like Iman Shumpert, who's a big X factor for Cleveland, in my opinion, because if he plays tough defense on DeMar DeRozan, that's going to cause Toronto to struggle.
And that's exactly what's happening because you're seeing Serge Ibaka doing. I don't know how he did today, but in Game 1, he did a pretty good job on Kevin Love defensively.
He did.
And he's definitely
he's definitely a better. He's a stronger defender than he is an offensive player.
Yeah, and he's definitely a great defensive matchup for Kevin Love because he can step out to the perimeter and guard the perimeter.
He is able to guard pretty much everyone on the floor when it comes to a 4.
Kevin Love's down. You still have to worry about Kyrie. You still have to worry about LeBron. And with Kyle Lowry not playing 100%, that's a huge
Kyrie Irving
issue.
will dribble circles around Kyle.
Because Kyle Lowry is also is a pretty decent defender.
He's a real solid defender. But Kyrie Irving is one of the fastest and best ball handling point guards in the NBA.
And I honestly don't trust Corey Joseph at all.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So when you've got Kyle Lowry, who's playing on one ankle basically, and Kyrie Irving, who's again the fastest and probably the best ball handling point guard in the NBA, he's going to abuse that, and you're forced to carry some of the defense over to help out, and that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
So I in my opinion, Cleveland dominates the series. I don't think Toronto really has enough to be able to even win one game. I mean, I struggle to find where they win one game because these games have been so lopsided.
It surprised me because I thought if Cleveland was going to win this series, they had to find a way to do it without LeBron because I thought that Toronto would do a good job of at least limiting LeBron with their...
Well, LeBron's really shown that that's not the case because LeBron has been LeBron. He's been a man amongst boys in this series.
So how far does this series go?
4 or 5. I don't even know if I see them taking it in 4 more than I see it going to 5.
I'm not gonna limit. I'll say Cleveland 6. I think Toronto
6.
I think
Toronto
they
take 2 in this.
I think Toronto will pull out one home game, and I think they will.
Well, that's only 5.
Yeah, I know. One home game the next 2, and I think they'll take either. I think they might take Game 5 by surprise.
Really? Okay. Wow, that's actually kind of surprising for me. I do not see the series going 6. The way I've seen this series unfold so far, there's no reason for me to believe that Toronto even takes a game.
Yeah.
So moving on to the last series over here in the NBA.
My favorite series.
Mine too, because what you're seeing with a certain player on one of these teams is historical. And that's the Boston Celtics and the Washington Wizards. Boston's got a 2-0 lead, and IT4, Isaiah Thomas, is playing out of his damn mind. That man is 5'7", 5'8".
Like John Wall,
John Wall's playing out of his damn mind.
The Wizards
too.
in general do everything they can. They're putting up average 110 points a game right now.
Yeah, and John Wall is playing out of his damn mind too.
They just don't have the answer for the 5'9" Isaiah Thomas.
5'9", maybe in heels. Like he's borderline 5'8". Like he's short as shit. But you're looking at they don't have an answer for him, and not just that though. They don't have an answer for guys like Avery Bradley or Jay Crowder or Al Horford. They don't have answers for guys like that. The guys that if you throw an extra defender on Isaiah Thomas, he's gonna find one of the other ones, and they all can score on that team. So Boston's really kind of come alive. We questioned them in the first series, going down 2-0 against Chicago, and then they won. They spun off 4 straight, I believe.
Yeah.
And they've continued that trend, taking the first 2 in this one. Now you swing back over to Washington, where Washington's going to have the home court advantage. But I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing more dominance by Isaiah Thomas and the rest of those Boston Celtics. I see them taking this series. I do see Washington battling a little bit. 5-6 is what I'm saying this is going. I don't think this is going 7. I'd be hard-pressed to see it go 6. I see it going 5 or 6.
Washington takes both home games. It's going 7.
Really? Yeah. I don't see Washington taking both home games. I see IT4 just asserting his dominance in Washington. I see him really showing up. I see them taking 1.
Because both
I don't know if I see them taking 2, though.
Both teams have shown
insane
offensive prowess.
No doubt both teams have shown an insane offensive prowess. Both teams have shown that they can really play. Now,
and I think a big factor in a team that's so reliant on their offense is being able to play in your home court.
You're talking 2 games that have gone to double-digit wins for Boston. Now, one of them went to OT. However, the reason Boston won by double digits in OT is there's one big X factor in the series that we haven't even talked about. That is such a massive scenario because Washington likes to foul a lot. Markieff Morris fouls out quite a bit, and so does Gortat. Washington has no bench. Boston has a good bench. Marcus Smart's a great player off the bench. Washington has 0 bench. Nothing coming off the bench in positions where you really need it.
I mean, they got
that's
point guard
why
depth.
They got what?
They got point guard depth.
Yeah, that's it. Problem is, John Wall's not really a guy you take out of the game very much.
They got Kelly Oubre coming off the bench too.
Okay, but he's not really showing up.
But
and he's really not that great of a player.
The reason
either.
I
Marcus
think
Smart shuts him down.
The reason
all day.
I think Washington might be able to take both at home is because with a team that's so reliant on their offense like these two are, being on your home court is a big factor.
So you're calling home cooking causes them to get
not home cooking, just being on your home court is a big factor in making shots.
Home cooking.
It's not home cooking.
That's home cooking right
Home
there.
cooking would be getting calls.
Not necessarily. Home cooking's the rim bouncing your way. Ball bouncing your way on the rim.
So I think this might be one of those series where it goes to 7 with the home teams winning every single game. I think that's what you might
don't know. I think Washington takes one at home. I don't see them taking both. I think Boston figures their shit out. If they lose one, they ain't losing the second. IT4 will not let his team lose these games. And again, though, the bench is such a big factor for me. That's why you saw Boston win by 10 in an overtime game. That does not happen because you didn't have an answer for the bench of Boston. You lost guys like Gortat and Markieff Morris. You didn't have an answer. You had no one coming off the bench to help you out. The fact that you don't have a bench for Washington, you do for Boston, is a huge, huge problem in this series. And why I think Boston really kind of shows up. Who the hell is Jason Smith? Brandon Jennings is garbage for that.
Big white power forward.
Those are so successful in the NBA. I forgot. And Bogdanovich is really non-existent. I thought that was a great pickup for Washington, and he's been nothing. So Jennings, again, nothing.
Kelly Oubre, again, decent game.
Played
almost 30 minutes going off the bench.
Yeah, he does play about 30 minutes, but again, though, their next best bench player is Jason Smith playing 16, and he's garbage. So, and then you've got Brandon Jennings playing 11 minutes a game and really doing absolutely nothing.
What strikes me, though? Look at his three-point shooting for the last game. 1 for 4. 1 for 2 from Markieff. 1 for 9 from Beal. And 3 for 10 from John Wall.
You're right. And you know why that happens is because you're playing some good defense by Boston. They're closing out. They're not giving open shots to good shooters. And again, that's going to continue. I can expect Brad Stevens to preach that. He comes from Butler, who's a defensive powerhouse. He's going to continue preaching physical, closeout type defense, tight defense on shooters. And that's what you're going to continue to see. You're not going to see any of these guys shoot 7 for 8 from 3 or 6 for 8 from 3 or even 5 for 8 from 3. You're going to see them shoot 1 for 4, 1 for 5, 2 for 5. You're not going to see them really go above 40% from 3 in the series ever. And the reason is because you're going to continue to see very physical defense. If Washington wants to win this, they need to penetrate. They need to force Boston to roll off their man and help. And that's how you're going to create open shots. I'm not seeing enough of that. Outside of from someone like John Wall, which they expect him to do that. You're not going to see that from anybody else.
John Wall's doing everything he can. He had 14 points, 13 assists, with 3 steals, and 3 blocks. 40 points, 13 assists, with 3 steals,
no
and 3
doubt,
blocks.
John, you're watching a fantastic matchup between John Wall and Isaiah Thomas. But that, in my opinion, in the series is all Washington has.
He needs help. I think the big X factor for them going to game 3 is Bradley Beal. Last game, he shot 1 for 9 from 3, 4 15 overall. Was it like 20,
well, problem with that is he's got a
26%.
fantastic defender covering him, so he's going to struggle the whole series. So that can't be your X factor. You got to look at guys like Markieff Morris and Otto Porter to step up then, and Kelly Oubre, which Kelly Oubre is also going to be a guy that's going to continue to struggle because again, fantastic.
Well, Markieff is a very
him.
reliable guy.
He is reliable, no doubt. I mean, he shot 6 of 11.
Him.
You do know that, but you got to get more out of him when you don't have Bradley Beal playing well, and when you're going to have Bradley Beal continuing to struggle because again, you have great defenders covering him. You have Marcus Smart coming off the bench, who has the size to cover Beal, no doubt, and the athleticism. You have Avery Bradley, who's a good defender covering Bradley Beal also. You are going to have hard matchups for Beal the whole series. They're going to play that physical. You have to be able to rely on Otto Porter and Markieff Morris to pick up that slack, which Otto Porter's also got a tough matchup in Jay Crowder. You're not going to get an easy matchup anywhere on the floor for any of these players.
Boston's definitely the much better defensive team than Washington.
No doubt, and they're also a much more well-rounded team when it comes to the bench. Jaylen Brown is playing the least amount of minutes off their bench, and he's one of the best bench players in the NBA. I mean, he's young, he's raw, but he's extremely athletic and a good defender. And then you've got Terry Rozier.
Jonas Jerebko isn't getting any.
That doesn't surprise me at all. The guy can't defend worth shit. So Terry Rozier is a guy who really playing good defense and really showing up, playing at the forward position here. But Marcus Smart is a huge X factor because again, he's able to guard the 1 and the 2. And that is something that's been a huge problem for a team like Washington because he's able to shut whoever he wants down on the floor. He's a great defender, without a doubt. And that's been a big problem. I mean, Avery Bradley had 3 steals in that last game. He's forcing turnovers.
John Wall.
And Marcus Smart had 2. Isaiah Thomas had 3. They're forcing turnovers, forcing the guards of Washington to turn the ball over by playing physical defense. And that's what you're seeing a lot of. Not to mention you have one of the best shot blockers in the game down low in Al Horford. So it doesn't hurt to have that.
Anyway.
But moving on from the playoffs
Sticking with the Celtics.
We are sticking with the Celtics, though.
Isaiah Thomas. We were just talking about him, how insane he's been playing, how out of his mind he's been playing. And generally, when you look back, the guy's 5'9", got drafted.
Is he actually 5'9"? I think he's 5'9" in shoes.
Play by Isaiah Thomas height. I think you're looking at Zeke.
This is 6'1".
That's Zeke.
Oh, god damn.
AIA. It's AIA. This is a guy drafted.
That's 5'9" in shoes. That's
sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure. I'm hearing he's 5'8".
So you're saying LeBron's not 6'8", just 6'8" in shoes?
That's probably. I'd say it's a little under. I'd say he's a little bigger than 6'8". But
anyway,
I don't think Isaiah Thomas is actually a full 5'9". I think that's generous, very generous.
Anyway, so
saying he's 5'9".
Drafted with the last pick in the draft to Sacramento, and honestly, he was very.
Was he actually Mr. Irrelevant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
he was pretty effective for
He was a
Sacramento.
good scorer, and he won in basically.
He could dish out assists too with Sacramento.
Yeah,
not like
but
he was
known for a score. Mm-hmm. And when he went to Phoenix, same deal. And when Boston
he didn't quite replicate what he did in Sacramento and Phoenix, but he was still good. He was still serviceable.
When Boston traded Phoenix,
which is already a success story for someone going 60th overall.
Oh, no doubt. But when Boston traded Phoenix for Isaiah Thomas, it was meant to bring him in as a good scoring threat off the bench, and that's what they wanted out of him. And they basically gave up a pack of peanuts for him, and he's turned into this. So who won that trade? I don't know.
Last year, All-Star. This year, you can argue bona fide superstar.
You could argue a bona fide superstar. But now the question is, you're going to probably pose this question in a second, so I'm going to let you go ahead and do it.
My question to you is, with Isaiah Thomas playing the way he's been playing,
at the size of at the size of a generous 5'9",
at the size he's been playing, and then you got a guy like Tyler Hughes, who also got taken in the second round this year, who last couple months of the season really stepped it up. Averaged almost 20 points a game.
Granted, that's beneficiary of some injuries.
Yeah, but are we seeing for guys like Isaiah Thomas? Are we seeing the door being open a little bit more for little guys in the NBA? Because you could argue Tyler Hughes would have been a first round pick easy if it wasn't for his size.
Now, so are you saying is IT4 opening the door for the short guys?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm going to say it's not IT4 that opened the door for the short guys. I'm going to say the door was already open. It was AI, it was Muggsy Bogues, it was guys like that from the past.
But the reason I'm saying that the door is open, I'm saying you still saw IT4 get taken.
Isaiah, I'm going to tell you right now, Isaiah Thomas as the 60th pick in the draft would not even have been picked if it weren't for guys like AI. Isaiah Thomas wouldn't be a thing if it weren't for guys like AI.
I agree with you. What I'm asking you is, are we finally going to see guys like? Are we going to see someone's height not be such a negative factor where they drop to the second round?
See, I would argue that if it weren't for the fact that Isaiah Thomas is also probably the worst defender in the NBA.
It's true. Defensively, he's a liability.
That's an understatement. He's literally one of the worst defenders in the NBA. Like bottom three. You put James Harden and Isaiah Thomas in the battle there for worst defender.
But is that would that be enough to drop you the second round?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In the NBA, absolutely that's enough to drop you.
Like if you went to a draft right now and you had a guy like Isaiah Thomas coming out, knowing everything you know about him now, is he a second round pick because of his defense?
But again, though, you don't know that about a guy who's 5'9" coming out of college. You don't know he's going to be a massive scoring threat because, again, that's never a good matchup for you. That's why he was taken 60th overall. A guy like AI is a completely different story because he's fucking Allen Iverson. Where was he taken in the draft? I don't know. I think he was like number
third.
Yeah. But that's
actually
AI.
No, he might have been first overall.
And I will not say Isaiah Thomas is anywhere near what AI was. I think
Allen Iverson was the first overall pick.
He might have been, but Allen Iverson played in a much tougher.
Yeah, he was the first overall pick.
He played in a much tougher league and a much more physical league. Isaiah Thomas has not touched what AI did. So to say that Isaiah Thomas is going to open the doors further for guys like that, yeah, a little bit. You're going to see some of these guys that are extreme athletic monsters at that size be taken late in the first round. I don't see guys like that being taken early in the first round, though. I think you're going to still see your 6'4", 6'3" guards continue to dominate that size frame. However, Kay Felder was late in the second round.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
He's 5'9". That's generous, also.
That's because that's what kind of led me to this topic, is because you saw like this last draft, particularly the 2016 NBA draft.
Yes, you did see
you
a lot
saw
of
guys who were highly talented, measured out really well,
very athletic, measured out well, but they were very small, which is again
put up great numbers for respective schools.
Yes, granted, Kay Felder's a tough one because he went to a very small.
But then you had to lose
school.
In Kentucky.
Yeah, that's exactly though. But again, you're going to see guys like that. You're going to see teams take flyers on guys like that in the second round. You're not going to see them reach for guys like that in the first round because guys like Isaiah Thomas and AI and Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb are hard to come by. You don't. That's why you don't see guys that are 5'9", 5'10", 5'11" in the NBA very often, and especially not successful. Earl Boykins was not successful. Who was the other one? Nate Robinson was not successful. They're both out of the league now, and Nate Robinson was not successful.
Nate Robinson got a lead till he was like 35, though. Nate Robinson
yes,
found
but
his
he
spot
was
for
on.
himself
Yes, but
in
he
the
was
league.
on the bench for a large majority of
he was a bench spark plug. Is basically what it was.
Exactly, and that was it. Again, Earl Boykins, another one of those bench spark plug type
name another
players.
5'7" player that could block Yao Ming.
Okay, Yao Ming put the ball down low to let that happen. Again, though, you're not going to see teams take flyers on guys like that in the first round. If you're drafting a guy that's 5'9", you're taking a flyer on him. You're hoping he pans out to be something special. You're not betting on it, though. You're not going to see teams take these guys in the first round because you can't rely on that. You can't rely on a guy who you know going in is going to be a defensive liability. That's the one for sure out of a guy like that. You know he's going to get abused defensively.
Well,
that's the one for
here's
sure.
The interesting thing with Tyler Ulis, he was actually projected out as a first-round pick, and he surprisingly dropped down in the second round.
I would say unsurprisingly because, again, his size is what killed him. Guaranteed that's what made him
That's
drop.
his only knock.
I don't think I think projecting him as a first-round pick is a gift to him. I think that's very, very overly mocking him, way above what he was actually going to go. And the reason is because of his height. If it weren't for his height, guys, first-round pick. But because of his height, the only for sure you have on guys like that going into the draft is the fact that he's going to get abused defensively. That's the only given on guys like that. You can't guarantee the guy's going to be a great shooter in the NBA. You can't, because again, when you got a guy who's 6'3", 6'4", putting his hands up, that's hard to shoot over when you're 5'9".
It's not like he didn't have 6'3", 6'4" guys in college.
I understand, but it's way different in the NBA. Guys in the NBA are you can't compare the NBA and college.
You can't. No, it's a completely different game.
It's so much of a different game in the NBA compared to college, and that's the big X factor. It's so much different that yes, they did it in college. How many guys have we seen do it in college, not do it in the NBA?
Yeah.
It's even more of an if with a guy that's 5'9", 5'10", because again, the only given you have with them is they will be abused defensively. You can't guarantee the guy's gonna be a good shooter. You can't guarantee he's gonna be able to dribble the ball around anyone. You can definitely guarantee he's gonna get abused defensively, and that's not worth taking a first round pick on because a first round pick is something that you build your team around.
Yeah.
Second round picks where you can take some flyers because most of those guys don't make the team after 3 years anyways. So no, I don't think this opens the door further. I think the door is open as wide as it's going to get for guys like that. Until you start seeing some freak ass athletes coming in at that size that are dunking the ball like fucking crazy, like Spud Webb and doing crazy
Nate
shit.
Robinson.
Yeah, but Nate Robinson, that's all he could do.
No, he was a very serviceable player.
Serviceable, but that's really all he could do. He was again abused defensively. He was so abused.
He was pesky.
He was pesky, but he was
a pesky little fucker.
He was abused though, like absolutely. And you can't say he was in the league till 35. He's 32 now.
Oh, I thought he was like 38 right now.
No, he's 32. He was in.
Dude,
he was
his
in
best
the league
season, he's put
long.
up 17.2 points per game.
Yeah, his best season. That's decent, but again though, most of his career he averaged 11 points per game in his career. That's not great by any sort of the means.
Well, that's including his later years where
he averaged less than a steal. If you're under 6 feet tall and averaging less than a steal, you're a shit defender. You should be able to get in there with being short. You should be able to get in there against a lot of those taller players and be able to shoot the ball. The fact that he was able to get less than a steal in his career, average less than one steal in his career, tells me that he was a terrible defender.
His career high in points was 45.
Whoop de fucking do. You know how many players have done that?
Good.
You know how many fucking players have done that?
He had 3 blocks in the game.
Wow, he averaged 0.1 blocks per game in his career. So, I'm sorry, but Nate Robinson, very underwhelming looking at these numbers, in my opinion.
think it's underwhelming at all.
I do, because that number right there. You could say he's pesky. That's not pesky to me. He was abused defensively. I bet you that teams shot over 50% against him. That players shot 50% against him.
That I don't know. I don't know.
Granted, we're never going to be able to figure that out. But I can bet you opposing players shot
deep research.
Yeah, opposing players shot over 50% against him, because again, the size is what kills him. It's the same situation with Isaiah Thomas. Teams abuse him, and that's why you will not see players, the door being open more than what it is now. And it's not because of IT4, it's because of guys like Allen Iverson. That's why the door's even open to begin with. That's why it's open as far as it is. That's why the teams are taking shots on guys in the second round, like a K. Felder, like an Isaiah Thomas.
So IT4 does open the door even a little bit more for you? Not even a crack?
Maybe this draft, not next draft.
Here's why
this draft and last draft, but not this one.
Here's why he opens the door a little more for me. Because with AI, the guy was a freak.
That's why the door is open to begin with.
The ball handling skills is something you can't expect every guy who's 5'9" to have.
You have to expect that. The guy
was a street baller. Okay?
I understand, but if you're 5'9" and you're not an insanely good ball handler, you're nothing to me.
Isaiah Thomas is not an otherworldly ball handler.
He's a good ball handler.
He's good, yeah. But he's not.
Again, though,
AI.
If you're not a great ball handler at the one at 5'9", you're nothing.
What I'm trying to say is a guy like IT4.
Because what do you have
he
for
doesn't
me, then?
measure.
You don't have strength. You don't have you don't have.
A guy like
ability.
IT4, he doesn't measure off the charts in any one specific area. He's good at a lot of things.
So then that's again an argument against what you're saying here, because of the fact that he doesn't measure off the board on anything.
That's what I'm saying.
That means that's you telling me that he's a complete anomaly, that you can't expect anyone else to ever do that.
That's the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm saying that because he's not a freak athlete like Allen Iverson was. He is. I'm saying he's not, but Allen Iverson's a completely different animal.
Isaiah Thomas would not be in the league if it weren't for AI.
I'm not arguing that.
Okay.
So now with Isaiah Thomas, he's much more grounded. He's much more as far as measurables, purely measurables are concerned.
Which is going to be argued as the anomaly.
Yeah, everything's attainable with him.
Again, an anomaly. The fact that he's as successful, his success is the anomaly here. The fact that he is as successful as he is, you can never expect it out of anyone else.
That's what I'm saying. But you're gonna have people, because initially before you would have people go, okay, this guy's like 5'10".
See, if I'm a general manager, I'm not ever going to look at a guy like Isaiah Thomas in the draft. This guy's like the fact that I know he's going to get abused defensively.
But I'm saying, let me finish. Before Isaiah Thomas, let's say 2 seasons ago, you could look at a 5'10" player in the draft and you could be like, okay, he could be the next AI, but
I'd have to see the measurables that AI had.
But I'm saying he does. You can't expect him to have the same. AI was probably the best ball handler of all time, arguably.
Okay, arguably.
So
I think Kyrie Irving may be a little bit better.
You can't expect him to have the craftiness AI had, and
I would need to see it. I would need to see at least flashes of Allen Iverson and a guy for me to even look at him in the draft.
And that's a lot to expect right there. So what I'm saying is,
which is why I don't think that you're going to have the door open.
Let's say in the 2017 draft now.
Okay.
You have a guy. You look at a guy. His measurables compared to Isaiah Thomas.
I don't even look at him.
Compared to Tyler Ulis.
I don't think you look at him. I don't think any player, any GM looks at a guy like that. I think you maybe take a flyer on him in the second round, but it's not because of Isaiah Thomas. It's because of Allen Iverson. The door was originally open because of AI.
I'm not saying I'm not saying
okay,
that.
But it doesn't open any further.
Two different things.
There's a ceiling of how much interest you can have in a guy that's 5'9" in the NBA, and it's already been reached. You're not going to get any higher. You're not going to see anything go higher until you start seeing 5'9" players start playing like LeBron. They're not going to see that ceiling of interest go any higher than what it is, and the ceiling was reached by a guy like AI because he was so good, he was so good at his size. Isaiah Thomas does not move the rate. Nothing moves the radar for me on Isaiah Thomas.
All I'm saying is the bar has been lowered a little bit as far as what you need to do to be successful at 5'9".
I would disagree. I don't think it has at all. I think the bar has been set by AI.
So
the bar will never move.
So you think Isaiah Thomas is as good as AI? Then is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that I'm saying that the bar has not been moved on what I'm looking at as a GM going into the draft. The bar has not been moved in that aspect. I still need to see flashes of AI. I still need to see an insanely talented player going into the draft if I'm even going to look at him at a 5'9" player. Because again, the only given I can get out of him is that he's going to be terrible defensively. That's it. That's the only thing I can guarantee out of a guy like that. I cannot guarantee that he's going to be anywhere close to what Isaiah Thomas is.
He wasn't a good defender, but he wasn't terrible.
He was abused quite a bit. He was, yeah, but again, though, you're talking about...
He was the definition of pesky.
Well, let's look at this. Again, though, you're looking at arguably the greatest short man in the history of the NBA. Again, though, but that's why the bar is set where it is. You will never have the bar go lower on looking at a guy in the draft. The reason guys are looked at is because of AI. You will never have that standard lowered. Because AI is the goal to reach for. AI is what you
AI
need
is
to be.
the goal, but I'm saying...
But again, though,
to be
if I see a guy like Isaiah Thomas in the draft with his measurables going in, I don't look at him. I sign him as an undrafted free agent as a gift. And going into the summer league, if this guy proves me wrong, fine, awesome, I got a gift. I'm not even looking at him in the draft because there's nothing that jumps off the page to me about him except for the fact he's terrible defensively. Why would I want that on my team? That's not going to help me. Guys like that pan out once out of every million players. Once.
Well, you just saw. Looks like Tyler Hughes might actually be panning out.
If you say he's even close to Isaiah Thomas, I will smack you across the face.
I said he looks like he could be panning out.
But Tyler Hughes was a guy who was very good at Kentucky.
Exactly.
I mean, very good at Kentucky,
yeah.
and a guy who was,
and a guy who,
also a guy who was, I would argue, was closer to AI than Isaiah Thomas.
One of the guys who I wanted the Pistons to take.
He's closer to AI than Isaiah Thomas was. That's why I look at a guy like Tyler Ulis before I look at Isaiah Thomas, because I see flashes of AI in Tyler Ulis. I don't see that in Isaiah Thomas. Coming off of college, granted, now I see.
By the way, another short guy who's a good defender, even though this is on the taller end of short guys, is Chris Paul. He's 6 foot even.
Yeah, that you're starting to get more of an average point guard at that point.
Well, AI was 6 foot even.
AI was 5'11". 5'11".
Arguable.
5'11".
You see both.
6 foot is generous. Again, very generous. But again, though, if I'm going to look at a guy
6
like
foot
that,
even says right there.
What?
It says 6 foot even right there.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I've heard 5'11" my whole life with that guy. I've heard 6 foot before, but again, that's in shoes. Now, AI steals throughout his career, averaged 2.2. Yes, he was a pesky defender. There's no doubt about it. But again,
what does this one say? 6 foot even.
Okay, again, in shoes. Generous. They're rounding up at that point. You're talking a guy who's 5'11" and a half, maybe. Now, again, though, if I see a guy like Isaiah Thomas with his measurables and everything he's done, I don't take him in the draft. I don't. I have no reason to, because again, the only given I get out of him is the fact that he's a terrible defender. That's the only thing I can guarantee, because he is Isaiah Thomas with his measurables being the way they are. What he's done today is the anomaly. You will never see that again from anyone. Of his measurables, you will never see that again, ever.
That's what I'm saying. You might be seeing it with Tyler Ulis.
Again, though, Tyler Ulis, his measurables are tracking towards AI more than they are Isaiah. He's got better measurables coming out of college. That's why I would look at a guy like Tyler Ulis before I would look at Isaiah Thomas.
Well, yeah, Tyler Ulis is a first-round pick. AI guy.
Yes, again,
Isaiah Thomas could take it
Ulis
60th.
has AI-type measurables. Isaiah does not. That's why I don't see the bar lowered, because Ulis broke that mold. He broke the Isaiah Thomas mold and hit AI's mold. He did not hit... he broke IT's mold. You're not going to see anybody of IT's mold open the door further, because, again, you will never see that player again. You will never see a 5'9" player who's terrible defensively with no good measurables in any other aspect of the game do what he does now. Because that doesn't exist. That's the anomaly. His success is an anomaly. It doesn't happen. To be as successful as a guy like AI, you had to have the measurables of someone like AI coming out of school, which is why you saw Tyler Ulis get taken where he did. That's why, because he has those measurables that Isaiah Thomas did not. Isaiah Thomas was lucky to be taken in the last pick of the draft, in my opinion. And he's lucky to have gotten the opportunities that he has. If I'm a GM, I don't take him. If I see a player like Isaiah Thomas, and I don't care what he pans out to be, that is way too fucking big of a risk for me to take anywhere in the draft. If he wants a summer league opportunity, I will give it to him.
I think at worst you can trust a guy like that to be a bench spark plug. Sorry.
I would disagree, because how many times have we seen players that come in at under 6 feet and be nothing and be out of the league in their first year? A lot. Kate Felder is one of those guys who's done nothing for his team being
I don't think he's got a chance to play.
Exactly. He's done nothing for his team.
I can't fault him for getting a chance to play, though.
I can, because he's not showing it in practice. That's where he gets his minutes.
Well, they don't practice.
You earn
much
your
in
minutes
the
in
NBA.
practice.
They don't have that many practices in the NBA.
They do, actually.
It's not like the NFL where they practice every week.
They practice every week, my friend.
They do not.
They do. And the fact that he didn't earn any type of minutes in the summer league or in exhibition games in the preseason or anything tells me that the guy's just no good. I loved him in college, and I love that he's a hometown boy here, but he's just no good. He's not an NBA player. He's too small. He's great athletically, but he's just too small.
If I were the Pistons, I'd trade a couple end of the bench guys, give them a shot, and fire them. I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't, because I'd be giving up assets for something that's never even going to play. Again, if
you
you're not playing a guy who is 7'3", you're not going to play a guy who's 5'9".
I disagree with them not playing the guy who's 7'3".
I do too. But again, though, if you're not playing a 7'3" player, you're not going to play a 5'9" player.
Anyway.
Kay Felder will forever be an end of the bench type player in his career and probably be out of the league in a few years. He's not. He doesn't reach the AI mold. He does athletically. That's about it. He doesn't shoot like AI. He doesn't defend like AI. He doesn't do anything else but maybe a little bit of speed like AI. That's it. That's it for me.
I don't even think Kay Felder is a very willing defender to begin with.
Exactly, because he's too small.
But
guys
anyway,
like that get abused, and that's all I can guarantee.
We'll move on. Next topic, we move. Oh, yeah, NFL. I kind of forgot what the topic was for a second. We got so deep in the last
Christ.
one.
But, okay, moving on over to the NFL here. We've seen this offseason some big-name running backs make some moves. You got AP going to the Saints. Jamal Charles. Chucky going to the Broncos. And then you got, what's the third one? Goddamn. Marshawn Lynch going to the Raiders. So you got 3 aging names going to different teams. Now, my question for you is...
One of them was actually retired.
Yeah, one of them probably should retire. Actually, 2 of them probably should retire. Well, no, I think Marshawn still got game. I can see him still having game. The other 2, I don't think do.
He's been in the league, what, 2 years now, though?
1.5, because he played 2 years ago, but he was hurt most of the year.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He was hurt most of the year.
But again, though, that poses the question of the aging running backs, not just these 3, but all aging running backs. Who do you think makes the biggest impact on their team?
I'm going to go Marshawn Lynch by default because I don't trust Jamal Charles to stay healthy for the whole season. I don't trust AP to stay healthy for the whole season.
Now,
honestly, by default, I'm going Marshawn Lynch.
Now, if I'm going just those 3, I'm going to agree with you. I think Marshawn Lynch is definitely the guy who's going to make the most impact. However, I think that's going to be a lot to do with the fact that, yes, both the other 2 guys are a huge injury risk, but then again, so is Marshawn Lynch. The big thing for me is, though, I think he gets the most use of any of those 3 guys. AP's, hey, what's going on, Real Bean 45? How you doing, man?
What is up?
AP is playing behind Mark Ingram, who gets a majority of the touches there.
And that also at the signing of Jamal Charles is weird to me too because
he's playing behind C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson and Monty Ball is pretty good too.
Yeah, and by the way, don't forget that the Saints drafted Kamara out of the draft, who's a huge name draft. Did you know that there was something like 27 running backs taken in this draft? A lot of people,
and Lions didn't take a single one of them.
I know, what the fuck?
A lot of people did not like that Saints pick, the running back, because they have such depth at running back. They really did not need it.
I kind of liked it because can you really guarantee AP's not going to get hurt?
Yeah, but you still got Ingram and Hightower.
I kind of like Kamara over Hightower. I kind of do. I'm not going to lie.
Hightower was pretty effective last season.
He was, but I kind of like Kamara. He's a guy who I really liked coming into the draft, but... Then you got
I would like
the Broncos with C.J. Anderson, and then you got Jamal Charles, which Charles is probably going to tear his ACL
obviously makes the most sense out of all of
Yes, because again, though, his backup is...
what's his name?
Exactly.
DeAndre Washington.
You have to think about it.
And what's the other guy's name?
Exactly. But
someone with a J.
Yeah. Jacquizz Rodgers.
No, that's
the
Falcons.
That was the Falcons.
All right, we continue.
But moving on from that, though, you have to think about
Richard. Before I even found it.
You have to think about who those guys are behind him, so you know Marshawn Lynch is going to get the majority of the touches there. Now, AP will not. Jamal Charles will not. And Jamal Charles, any touches he gets, he will either fumble them or tear his ACL for the 9th time. So that's why I don't think they're going to be very much effective versus Marshawn Lynch, who will be, because he's going to be used in the same...
AP might not even start. Jamal Charles might not even start.
Marshawn Lynch is going to be used in the exact same scenario that Latavius Murray was, who was also extremely successful there. So you're going to see him used in those situations.
Now, here's my question for you. Do you take Jamal Charles in the first round of the fantasy draft?
Hell no. I don't take him in the 8th round. I let him go undrafted. Fuck it. Hell no.
If he's a starter?
No! Fuck no! I've made that mistake before. That killed me. Granted, I did win fantasy that year. Thank you, Latavius Murray, but hell no! Hell no!
Oh, man.
Now, I will say I don't think any of those 3 are going to... Of the aging running backs, I don't think any of those 3 are going to be the most impactful. One who I think is most impactful is LeGarrette Blount. He's 31 years old, unsigned.
I don't even know where he's going yet.
Exactly. I don't care, though. There's 2 teams in the mix for him, the Giants and the Lions. I think both of them use him extremely effectively and in the right situations. Both teams
the
will
Lions
use him.
bolstered offensive line behind the Giants' passing attack.
You got a lot from both those teams, and that's why I think he will be the most. He's going to be a guy who's going to be a Jerome Bettis type player that's going to score the ball 15 times throughout the year and probably go just under 1,000 yards, maybe just over, depending on his usage. So I'll take that, and I'll say that's more effective than anything any of those other three guys are going to do it. And this guy's not even signed yet.
Yeah.
So of the aging backs, I think LeGarrette Blount, the unsigned player, is going to be the most effective of all of them because the two teams he's looking at going to right now, I like those possibilities.
All right, real quick, I want you to be as
now he's got to stay out of trouble.
I want you to be as unbiased as possible on this answer. If you were LeGarrette Blount, do you go to the team like the Lions with the better offensive line, or do you go to a team like the Giants with the better passing attack who might have better run lanes?
Well, I would say that the offensive line creates running lanes in itself.
It does.
So I think the better running lanes are going to come from Detroit because you've seen running backs fail miserably for the last half decade in New York. So that's one strike there for me.
That's very true.
That's one strike there for me.
David Wilson.
And you're also talking, the Lions don't really have that bad of a passing game, mind you.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not that
Their
bad.
passing attack's not that bad. And Eli Manning has been trending downward
drastically.
drastically.
It's not that bad.
Eli Manning's been trending downward drastically. Matt Stafford had a better year than Eli Manning last year.
But I mean, now they got Odell, Brandon Marshall, Sterling Shepard, and they got a pretty decent tight end.
Brandon Marshall's
on the draft.
90 years old.
And they got a decent tight end on the draft.
Again, Brandon Marshall's 90 years old. So I don't really like the Evan Ingram fit for New York. So
I thought it was a reach.
Not
saying he's not going to be a good tight end. I just thought it was a bit.
I don't think he fits there, to be honest.
Really,
I really don't. I don't think he really works in that offense. He's not a guy. The Giants have been trying to find a tight end like Jeremy Shockey. He's not a Jeremy Shockey tight end at all. So that's where that bothers me. So forgetting that, but Brandon Marshall's 90. I don't think he's going to be that effective for New York. I think he's their third best receiver.
Well, yeah, you said on the show before.
Yes. Sterling Shepard I like a lot. Odell Beckham Jr. I like him also. Granted, he's got to stay healthy and stay out of trouble.
Stay sane.
Stay sane, yes. Divorce your net, all right? Get away from that. That's a toxic relationship for you, Odell. Now, if I'm LeGarrette Blount, the only thing that really leans me... There's two things that lean me toward New York. One, it's Super Bowls. The fact that they've won Super Bowls recently. Two, it's the limelight. LeGarrette Blount seems to be a limelight kind of guy.
Yeah.
He wants that limelight, and New York is the number one
You're
limelight
not going to get
city.
that in Detroit.
No, you're really not. So that's two things that lean me toward New York.
We barely
if
get
I'm LeGarrette
sunlight,
Blount.
let alone limelight.
We play indoors. We don't get any sunlight on the football field. Now, I'm going to say Detroit here. Being as unbiased as I possibly can, and the reason because I think he's got a better opportunity here. I think New York is trending downwards, and Detroit is trending upwards. Now, New York kind of surprised people last year, and so Detroit did a little bit too. Now, but Detroit made some big moves in the offensive line.
You could argue in Detroit, though, he has better competition for that running back spot with a healthy Amir
Yes,
Abdullah.
but I think he gets fueled by that because he had that in New England. James White and...
Passing back.
Who's the other
Receiving
fucker?
back, I mean, Deion Lewis.
Deion Lewis are guys that you can
Receiving
really...
backs.
Deion Lewis is a running back. He ran for big-time yardage when he got his opportunity.
Yeah, more of a running back than James White, but I still think he's...
but again, though...
Best user receiving
Those are
back.
still guys that you have to compete for. And the Lions, who do they have? Amir Abdullah, who's probably going to get hurt week 1. And Zach Zenner and Dwayne Washington. I'm not really worried about those two guys.
God, Amir Abdullah doesn't get hurt.
I'm not. If I'm
Am I
LeGarrette
drafting
Blount,
him again? No, I'm not drafting
if I'm
him again,
LeGarrette Blount,
but-
I'm not worrying about Zach Zenner or Dwayne Washington for touches.
Oh, yeah, no.
And Theo Riddick has, in his entire career, has run the ball less than 100 times.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about
Again,
losing touches to him
receiving
either.
back.
Yes. So you have a very similar scenario to New England in Detroit when it comes to receiving backs.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of liking the three-headed dragon in Detroit with LeGarrette Blount, Theo Riddick, and
hopefully
Amir
healthy
Abdullah.
Amir Abdullah.
Yeah, hopefully healthy Amir Abdullah, and hopefully sticky hands Amir Abdullah.
Yeah.
This guy fumbles like fucking crazy. So, but that's why I kind of choose Detroit. I think they're set up better. I think they did the most in the offseason to make some shit happen. They really bolstered that offensive line, and I don't know who the fuck these analysts are saying that it was only a slight improvement on the offensive line, because I see a vast improvement on the O-line. Come from a Detroit fan, I am thinking, God, someone knows how to put an O-line together, because we've seen now Pro Bowls. Pro Bowlers on the O-line. Can you believe that?
Either they're not paying attention to what we did with our O-line, or they think our O-line was just that good last year.
We have Pro Bowlers on the O-line now. Name the last time we had a Pro Bowler on the O-line. What was it, the 90s?
Was
I believe it
Rayola
was.
ever a Pro Bowler?
No, I don't
Ever?
believe so.
Ever.
Guy was never that good. And Jeff Beck is same deal. So I don't see any Pro Bowlers on the O-line for like
Riley
20
Reef
years.
isn't a Pro Bowl?
But Taylor Decker's a borderline Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Graham Glasgow I could see making a Pro Bowl in his career. And Rick Wagner is a Pro Bowler. And, oh, by the way, TJ Lang is probably the best right guard in the league.
Then
so
who's the other guy? Who's the guy that we drafted?
Travis Swanson.
No, the guy
center.
we drafted the first round 2 years ago.
Lincoln Tomlinson?
That guy.
He's garbage.
Is he garbage?
Yes, he's garbage.
He's a smart guy, though.
Yes, very smart guy. He's a doctor. Now, Graham Glasgow, who's a true center, beat him out for his position at left guard. So, tough luck there. But
all right.
If I'm LeGarrette Blount, I'm choosing Detroit because of the success opportunities. Granted, if I'm also LeGarrette Blount, I'm seeing the limelight in New York, and I may be swayed that way. So it's really a tough call. It's whether or not he wants to have
So why he's still not signed yet?
Exactly. That and the money.
Yeah.
He's asking for way too much money. But
is he? How much is he asking for, do you know?
Too much for him.
Oh, okay.
Too much for him. For a guy who's been suspended like 12 times in his career, way too much. Now, I completely lost what I was going to say, but fuck. Now, talking about the draft though, I want to rap about the Detroit Lions draft here for a minute because hometown team, and I haven't really been able to really focus on this. Now, I like their draft. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I like their draft. I liked the linebacker pick in the first round. I think he's going to be a starter immediately, and I think he could be a captain within a couple of years. Very good leader, very good player. He's going to make a difference for us. I even like the second linebacker that they took. I think I like him a little bit. I don't hate him.
I was wishing the second linebacker they took was Zach Cunningham. They had him available in the second round.
Yes,
they could have got a really nice linebacking duo in Jerry Davis and Zach Cunningham.
You're right. They could have. Now, I don't mind the second linebacker they took. Now,
position.
I think that they should have gone a different round in the second round than defense. I think they should have gone offense in the second round. And I was actually vastly... Now, I don't understand the wide receiver pick. I really don't. I mean, the guy could be good.
The guy is 6'4".
He is 6'4", but he's very slow. Yeah. Again, very slow.
Anquan Bolden.
Now, the Tease Tabor pick... I like and don't like. The reason I like him is it's kind of the yin to the yang of Darius Slay. Mm-hmm. He's more of a physical corner. Mm-hmm. He's more of a guy who's going to jam.
Played very well in college.
He did, but again, he ran a 4.89 40.
Yeah, he saw.
Which
I know it was like a 4.7 something.
It was a 4.89 at his pro day.
Oh, okay.
And a 4.7 at the combine. Now, I'm not a guy who will believe in 40 times worth anything because again. Show me the guy in pads with a ball in his hand, or show me the guy in pads at all and running a 40. That's different. Now, I believe it was John Ross said that he could beat Usain Bolt in the 40 time. They had a college track star run the 40, and he ran it in a 4.21 or a 4.12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he beat John Ross, and that's not Usain Bolt. This guy is not even in the Olympics. This guy's just a college track star. And he beat John Ross's 40 time on his first try, mind you. Didn't even take twice. Took one. So, shut up, John Ross. That shows you that football players really aren't the fastest athletes. First off,
they're not.
Now, second off,
they're fast though.
They are. Some of them are. But the thing I will count bad 40 times against players, and the reason is because you're running without pads. This should be your absolute fastest ever, and you're running a 4.9 40. That's sad. That's bad. But the thing I do like is his size and his physical ability. He's a physical corner. So I don't hate the pick of Tease Tabor. I think he may have gotten some beneficiaries from playing opposite Quincy Wilson and playing on the Florida defense because everybody on the Florida defense looked good. Everybody did. So
wait, that Florida defense is fun to watch.
But see, the guy I kind of compare they
compared him to Darius Slay, so they compared him to,
which makes no sense to me because Darius Slay is ridiculously fast.
I thought sure was slower than that.
No, he's fast. Now, a guy that what I don't understand is Darius Slay's ridiculously fast versus Tease Tabor, who's not. See, a guy that I would actually really compare Tease Tabor to, Brandon Browner. Physical, not very fast. But was a very good corner for much of his career. So but again, not a very fast corner, but very physical.
And a guy that annoyed me on Man Ultimate.
Again, 4.63 is not a very good 40.
Guy that kicking B on the outside.
Yeah, because he's not fast. But he's a guy who doesn't have very good 40 time. 4.63, granted, that's better than Tease Tabor, but he's a physical corner.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to... And again, that's what the Patriots had in Brandon Browner and the other corner, Aqib Talib, that they had back then. So you had a yin to the yang again, and that's what the Lions are getting in Tease Tabor. However, if I'm the Lions in the second round, I'm going running back. And I'm trading up to get either Dalvin Cook or Joe Mixon. I'm getting one of those two guys because the thing that worries me... I don't hate their draft. But the thing that worries me about the draft and the thing that is really concerning to me is the fact they didn't take a running back. You cannot trust Amir Abdullah to stay healthy at all. Can't trust him. And you also can't trust him to hold in the football. Every 50 touches, he fumbles 4 of them. That's a problem. So you're looking at a running core of Zach Center and Dwayne Washington again, which ain't gonna do it for me. Theo Riddick is a fine player, but he is not a running back. He's a receiving back. I will never call him a running back. He's a receiving back. Zach Center and Dwayne Washington ain't gonna do it for me. They needed to draft
for someone who loved Zach Center when we got him.
And I do love Zach Center, but he's not a guy who's gonna move the needle for me in the NFL. He's a guy he's good in situational scenarios, but I need an every down back. I need a bell cow. I need someone who's going to make me able to run the play action.
The thing is,
the thing with Matt Ryan, the reason Matt Ryan and Matt Stafford are compared to each other so much, and the reason because their abilities are very similar. Now Matt Ryan took a step up so big last year, so majorly last year, and the reason is because he ran the play action 40% of the time. You have a running back in Devontae Freeman there.
Took a huge step up last year, but he kind of tapered off towards the end of the year.
He did. But not numbers wise. Leadership wise, yes, but never numbers wise. He was never a numbers guy like Matt Ryan was last year. Now
his best number season was that year he had the what
Stat Padford year?
Yeah, 5,000 yards.
Yeah, Stat Padford year, 2011. That was when 4 quarterbacks hit 5,000 yards that year. By the way, including Eli Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Eli Manning, and Matt Stafford all hit 5,000 yards. Now. The thing that Matt Ryan was so successful was because of the fact that he was able to run the play action 30 to 40% of the time. You were forced to put the defense up into the box, and oh, by the way, you got single coverage on the outside now. So your receivers are going to be open, and the Lions can't do that. Because if you run the play action, fine. We'll take a guy out of the box and play back in coverage because you're not going to get past our front 6 now because fuck you. So that's my problem with the Lions. They need a guy that allows them to run the play action. They don't have that.
We've gone so far off topic.
I know. But it's something I've been trying to rap about the Lions draft for so long since the draft, and I haven't been able to. And it just really bothers me and concerns me because I don't see them upgrading that offense at all outside of the line. Which you invest so much in your line. They did with the line.
No, I'm talking about the draft.
I know, but they got a quarterback and a receiver.
Oh, they got a backup quarterback who probably better than Darren Orlovsky, I'll tell you that.
Well, Darren Orlovsky's gone.
He is gone.
Jake Rudolph's their backup.
Probably than Jake Rudolph, too.
Yeah, Jake Rudolph's terrible.
But
they got a receiver who probably could fight for like a third role.
I'd rather them to bring back like Jay Lee or one of those guys that we saw in the preseason last year that really impressed me.
He'll be fighting for a position along with those guys. So don't.
Who was that little guy that we saw?
Jay Billingsley.
There he is.
Guy. Yeah, he was awesome.
He got signed by somebody, didn't he?
No, he's with the team still. He's with the practice squad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's still on the Lions. But, see, he'll be fighting for a spot alongside those guys. He'll also be fighting for a spot against Anquan Bolden.
Yeah.
If they bring him back. They haven't brought him back yet, I don't think. So, if they bring him back...
TSA intends to return for a year or so.
Yeah, intends to. But the Lions may not bring him back. Now, the thing is, though, is they come out the very next day and say that we're not closing the book in Anquan Bolden. Day after you draft a guy who's literally the same player, so that bothers me. That I don't get that. Now, again, though, you invest so much in your O-line, but you don't do anything at running back. That worries me because you need a running back in today's league. You do, which I can't believe I'm saying that because it's such a fast league.
The tough thing is, and I agree with you, by the way, but the tough thing is again, it was only 2 games, but you saw those 2 games. Riddick was super effective in those 2 games they played last season.
He's been hurt 2 straight years.
Yeah,
now.
no, I'm saying I agree.
And
with
also
you.
in those 2 games, he's fumbled 5 times.
I'm saying I agree with you. I'm just saying I'm pretty sure their argument is they think that Amir Abdullah will stay healthy.
And I will say your argument is fucking retarded.
It's foolish.
Beyond foolish. It's fucking retarded.
Even if you think he'll stay healthy, you need insurance.
Yeah.
Regardless.
You've never had more than 3 games in a year.
There's nothing wrong with letting him keep a starting job and seeing if he stays healthy.
No.
But you still need insurance.
But I'm not putting it. If he fumbles in the first game, I'm pulling his ass for the second guy. I'm putting a short ass leash on him. Now, if I'm the Lions, though, I need a back. I need one that's going to stay healthy, that's physical, that is able to run between
tackles. You might get LeGarrette Blount.
And if you get LeGarrette Blount, that's perfect. Maybe that's why Bob Quinn didn't go running back because he knows he's getting LeGarrette Blount.
We brought it full circle.
We did. But of the aging running backs, Marshall Lynch, LeGarrette Blount, I think are going to make the most. So, moving on to sports rule changes. We went way off topic.
There you go,
Bob Lizard. What up, man?
You guys had a good lead. What happened?
You guys did have a good lead.
Last time I checked, you guys had like a 15, 16-point lead. Let me check the score real quick.
Speaking of sweating my balls off, it's hot in here.
Yeah, I'm all right. I like the Heat. Oh, I'm 14. What you
I'm
complaining
14. Come on now, don't sweat your balls off.
I mean, yeah, you guys kind of fucking shit the bed in game 1. But
hey, you're already at 97. You only scored 99 last game. I think you got enough to win. But moving on to sports rule changes.
Jesus.
Now, we've talked about proposed rule changes by leagues.
Uh-huh.
Now, I want us to propose some rule changes here. And I
Okay.
want us to go through each sport to propose these rule changes. And I'm going to start it off with baseball.
Baseball.
My sport. Baseball season kind of fits.
Okay.
And this is a rule change I think has been a long time coming. Mm-hmm. And I've actually got 2 here. And it's something I need to see. And you know what? I'm actually going to put a rule in there that I don't want to see changed that I think will be changed soon.
Okay.
And I'm going to go one that I want to see changed, one that I don't.
Okay.
And the one I want to see changed, I want to see the DH put in the National League.
I'll agree with you.
Now, you say that,
I don't like pitchers
wow,
hitting.
that's so untraditional of you when you're a traditionalist baseball player. Yeah, you're right, I am. I'm a 100% traditional baseball fan. However, I think the DH should be put in the National League. I don't think the same leagues should be playing different rules. I think that's kind of dumb. And it's very interesting.
That's always bothered me in baseball. Because it's not like you see in the NBA the East and West Conference having
Right.
different rules. It's
Now,
weird.
it's very interesting when it comes to interleague play and when it comes to the World Series.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see the different strategies involved. Now, however...
Also, I don't like pitchers hitting. It's kind of
Exactly.
pointless.
Who the fuck wants to see a pitcher hit? Outside of Madison Bumgarner, who's probably the best hitting pitcher I've ever seen, Babe Ruth. But who the fuck cares about these pitchers hitting? They're terrible. I don't want to see Justin Verlander going to the plate. I want to see a guy whose only job is to hit the baseball go up to the plate. I want to see that. I want to see more offensive games be put into there because you have a guy. And by the way, National League pitchers never seem to fare well in the American League because they don't have a guaranteed out in the lineup on the opposing team's lineup. So you can always guarantee that a National League pitcher coming to the American League is going to at least hurt a little bit. So you're going to even that out a lot. And you're going to see pitchers go to different places now because of that. Mm-hmm. So, but I think the DH needs to be put in the National League. I don't see a reason why it isn't to this point. We are in 2017. We're not playing baseball in 1908 anymore. We need to see baseball in 2017, which the fans want offense. The fans should get offense, and that's how you do it. You put a bat in the lineup that's going to work, which is the DH, and that's how. And also, I'm surprised Yankees are doing good. You know what? I'm really not, and I'll talk about that in a second. You need to implement the DH in the National League. There's no reason it's not there. We need to see it. It's been a long time coming. It needs to happen.
It's funny you say that because how funny would it be if they do make a rule change to have the same rules with the National and American League, but they implement the pitcher hitting in both.
Can't.
What?
Oh, they implement the pitcher hitting?
Yeah.
So they take away the DH altogether. You know what? That's better than what we have now. It is.
I think it'd be hilarious.
It's better than what we have now because you have at least both leagues playing by the same rule set.
Yeah.
It'll frustrate me because I think that's the opposite way of what the league needs to go. But I think it's a better rule because, again, you have the leagues playing at least on the same rules. Yeah. So if I'm, Rob Manfred, I think his name is. No. Yes. If I'm Rob Manfred, I'm putting DHs in both leagues first. If nobody says yes to that, I'm going no DHs at all. And if nobody says yes to that, well, fuck, we're right back where we started as it is now. So Tony Parker is injured. Oh, my God.
Is he?
Uh-oh. Well, you still got Patty Mills, though. I mean... I like Patty Mills. I'm a fan of his.
Let me give you my thoughts about him, Lizard. Tony Parker has not been very effective for the last couple years now.
No. He's just a name.
But the thing is, he knows that offense.
He does.
And he can run that offense.
He can.
So,
but you know what? I bet you Patty Mills could too.
Oh, I'm not doubting he could. But if it was any person that's starting 5 that I think you guys could afford to have go down is probably Tony Parker, which is very unconventional to say the point guard's the one guy you can afford to go down.
I think that's the one guy you can afford to have go down, honestly. I mean, he's probably the least effective of anyone on the offense. I mean,
you need Danny Green's offense.
You need his defense, too. And Tony Parker's really not that great defensively anymore. He's too slow. So, in my opinion, Tony Parker's the most expendable player on that offense, so I wouldn't worry too much. But I like Tony Parker a lot, don't get me wrong, but I think he's your most expendable player on that starting 5.
He's also 57, is it? 58?
Damn, I thought he was pushing 60. I thought he was 61, 62.
I remember cussing him out when the 04 Pistons were playing against
Seriously! I remember that man when I was still in diapers. Now, moving over to the rule that I don't want to see changed, and which I do think will be changed in the next coming years, is the fact that baseball players police their own game versus like football where the league polices everything, or hockey where the league hockey's another one where they police their own game, but the league does get involved a lot more recently. How's the Detroit? Fuck you. You know what? They're garbage, and I think the team should be blown up.
Honestly, I love the Pistons. I've loved the Pistons.
Oh, I will forever love the Pistons. I will forever be a Pistons fan.
No Pistons team has ever pissed me off more than this season.
They're so damn disappointing. You know what team really pissed me off was the Brandon Jennings, Josh Smith Pistons. That team had high hopes going into it because of the money that they threw at those guys.
At least I knew the way that offense was constructed was faulty.
Well, yeah, Josh Smith was never supposed to play the four.
The three.
The three.
But with this team, they have the capability. They just don't care.
I don't think they have the size.
They don't give two shits what they do on the court.
They really don't. But that Josh Smith Pistons team really frustrated the hell out of me. Josh Smith shooting a three, the whole crowd goes, "No!" It
got to the point where we were just amusing.
It was hilarious. It really was. If you went to a Pistons game during the Josh Smith years, it was hilarious because whenever he got the ball at the perimeter, as soon as you saw him go like that, the whole crowd went, "No!"
There was a Pistons drinking game in the Josh Smith years.
Every time he shot a three.
Not an ill-advised three. It was take a shot, but the thing is, about 80% of his threes are ill-advised.
Yeah, about 80%. Yeah, exactly. Which, when it came to Josh Smith, all of his threes were ill-advised threes. So, but no, that team is so frustrating. They piss me off. Their attitude pissed me off.
Yeah.
But moving back though, the rule I don't want to see change is the fact that the teams and the players police their own game. Which by that I mean, if you do something we don't like, we're gonna hit you. And being a baseball purist, as someone who's pitched in the past, I may or may not, I will not confirm this, have done that before a few hundred times or two.
100, Jesus Christ.
But
like
I'm sorry, but if I'm a pitcher on a team and you hit my player and you hurt him and it looked intentional, you better fucking believe I'm throwing right back at you, and I will hit you, and I don't trust me, I won't miss. I won't miss you. And it will hurt, I promise. And if you decide, if I'm a shortstop and you decide to
Tony
spike
can't
me,
walk, guys. Wow.
Ouch. Damn.
What did he do? Did he hurt his knee? Was it a knee injury?
I got it. He blew out his hip.
Jesus Christ. The man can't walk. We can't keep making fun of him.
But no, if I'm a shortstop or a second baseman and you spike me sliding into second, you better believe as soon as I get there, I'm spiking your ass too.
Yeah.
The game polices itself, and that's what I want to see stay. Now, what we're seeing is a lot of the game being controlled by umpires, not allowing the teams to police each other. We're seeing it with the Orioles-Red Sox series. That has gotten a little bit out of hand recently, granted.
Houston's closing the gap a little bit. It's only down 12 now.
Only. But today we saw in the second inning, the Orioles pitcher accidentally plunk a Red Sox player in the second inning with a 77-mile-an-hour curveball. That's a total accident. I pitched. Curveballs get away.
And it's his knee, by the way.
Okay.
So it's probably a pretty...
It's not the bunions on his foot?
He tore something.
Okay, that's not good.
But he can't put any weight on it. Usually ACL, you can put some weight on it.
Could be a meniscus.
Could you have blown his whole knee out?
That's a lot of fucking tendons.
They had to carry him off.
Okay. He's also 90. You probably have to carry him off on a regular game anyways. But, again, though.
That's unfortunate because a guy his age, he might actually see his career end.
That is his career end. He's done. But he should have been done anyways. But, again, though, the league is trying to put too much say in how the players police each other, which I don't want to see that. We've seen players police each other in hockey for years, and it's never gotten too bad. Yeah. I mean, a few times it has, but there's going to be anomalies. Now, I will say that you should never throw up and in on someone. You should never throw at someone's head. I'll say that immediately. And if you do, I do think you should be suspended for a game. Even if it's an accident. If you hit a guy in the head, suspend him for a game. Now, and I'm not just talking suspend him the next game. I'm talking he has to miss a start or an outing. So 5 games technically. But otherwise, though, don't suspend team players for throwing at each other. Don't suspend teams for throwing by. I mean, Chris Sale is going to get suspended because he threw behind Manny Machado with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Behind him. He didn't even hit the guy. Why are you going to suspend him if he didn't even hit the guy? Yes, it was totally intentional with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, but it was at his thighs. It was at his thighs, though. It wasn't at his head. It wasn't at his shoulders or his neck. It was at his thighs. The meatiest part on your body where you can get hit, and it'll hurt a lot, but it won't kill you.
Yeah.
So it kind of bothers me that they're going to suspend Chris Sale for that because, again, let the league police itself. They've done that for years. If you got pissed off by a guy, you threw at him. And you know what? After that, players got pissed. They went out and shoved each other, and it was over. A few people got tossed. It was over. You played baseball. That's how baseball is. You police each other. And that's what I want to see happen to continue. But I don't think it will because I think the league is going to change it.
I have a couple things for baseball. One, I know they've... a lot of people have discussed putting a radar strike zone. Which, let me finish. Let me finish. I know you're going to go. Let me finish. I don't think it should be a full game thing where it's no offense radar strike zone. But
so you're saying you think they should be able to challenge balls and strikes?
Limited amount of challenges.
That's where I would disagree with you.
And the second one, can the skipper please wear a damn suit? Do you have to be in a uniform?
No, I like it in a uniform. I like seeing the skipper going out there in his uniform kicking dirt everywhere. I like that shit.
I want a random guy coming out with a shirt and tie getting all pissed off.
See, the thing is, though, is I feel like if they're wearing these expensive suits, they won't do it. I want to see that shit.
I want to see a suit with cleats. That's what I want to see.
You're not going to see that, and I hope to God you never do, because that is a fashion abomination.
That's when you're going to start having a new fashion trend. Dress shoe cleats. Wingtip cleats.
Now, the thing is, though, is watching these managers in these uniforms that do the things on the field that are just... I want to see more of it. I want to see more outrageous rants. I mean, we've seen Osmus do it, taking off his jacket, throwing it down, kicking dirt, laying his jacket over the home plate. I love that shit. And I think there should be more of that. Yeah. And we're seeing less and less of it because we're seeing managers that are more even-keeled, which I don't want to see that. I want to see these guys go nuts. Yeah. I want to see Luke Pinella-type managers going out there, getting the throwing shit and going crazy. I like that.
Picking up the bases, throwing it
all going and stealing a base, chugging
out
the outfield. How
much better would it be with a guy in a suit doing that, though?
See, the thing is, though, is if he's in a suit, I don't think he's going to do it.
That's why now you really know he's mad. Because come on.
See, I think we'll see even less of it. I want more of it. I want more.
But back to the strike zone thing. So I agree with you because I don't want to.
I also don't think they should suspend managers for that type of shit. I think they should be able to do it.
I agree with the fact that I don't want to. I agree with the fact that I don't want to see him take the human element out of the game completely. I do like the umping.
How do you know my standpoint on that?
We've talked about this before.
How do you know my standpoint? Yeah, 2 years ago. How do you know my standpoint on this?
That's I'm assuming your standpoint is going to be based on your standpoint.
Well, you're assuming wrong.
And okay, then we're.
I think now. I'm so on the fence with this, actually. Yeah. I'm so on the fence with this because there's umpires now. I think they just need better umpires to begin with because there's some of them that are the old school guys that are god-awful.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, god-awful. And their strike zones make no fucking sense. Like, they don't know what balls and strikes are. They need glasses.
It's more triangles than squares.
It's worse than that. It's like, here's what the strike zone's supposed to be, but here's their strike zone over here. Like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Like, but but I would like the fact that it would be consistent when it came to balls and strikes with a machine and with a robot and stuff calling balls and strikes.
Now you're talking about robot the whole time? Or you're talking about
the whole time. Now, I don't like the challenge aspect because the game doesn't need to be any longer than it is. We already have challenges on certain plays, and I don't think balls and strikes are big enough plays in the game to really make a difference.
Unless it's...
yes, I get that. But, again, though, that is part of the game. That is, you can say, is part of the game. I don't like that, but it is. Now, first off, I think you need to just get better umpires. Second off, if that's not an option, then shit's not right. Then that's a fucking travesty. But if that's not an option, then you really need to actually take a look, at least try it. Maybe in minor leagues, like a AA or single A type league, try the robotic balls and strikes. See how that works out. See how the players react. See if the fans react to it. See how it goes. Yeah. I think it's something that needs to be looked at. But if you're going to do it, you need to do it full bore. You need to go all the way with it. You need to not do half-ass it. Now, the challenge balls and strikes thing is intriguing, but again, though, it can be so minuscule. And
Okay, you're not gonna.
See, the thing is though, is the balls.
You're not going to use a challenge for something unless it's a big deal, whether it's a ball.
Right, and argue. But again, though, that brings back to the fact that players aren't allowed to argue. People aren't allowed to argue.
For example, sometimes
you are in Major League Baseball. You're immediately tossed for arguing balls and strikes now.
Oh, really?
Yes, you are immediately tossed for arguing balls and strikes right now. So, which I think that's I don't like that to begin with, but.
I'm saying, like, you'll see probably, like, if it's a full count, and the guy called a strike, and you really think it's a ball, you might see a challenge flag get thrown out
at that point in a full count, you should be swinging the bat anyways. You should be, if it's anything close, you need to swing the bat. If it's close enough for the guy to call a strike, you need to swing the damn bat. Yeah. I'm sorry. Coming from a baseball player, if it's close in a 3-2 count, and it's close enough for the umpire to call it a strike, even if you don't think it is, swing the damn bat. Put the ball in play. That's the only way you're going to get runs in, because you need to make shit happen, and that's how you play the game. And now the league is trying to force the ball to go and play more by, which... At first, I didn't quite understand it, but I kind of do now, which is they've shrunk the strike zone.
Yeah.
Instead of the lower half part of the knee, they've now made it the upper part of the knee. Instead of the lower part of the letters, or the upper part of the letters, they made it the lower part of the letters, which is forcing pitchers to put it in a location where players are going to swing the bat more. Players, the ball that's just below the knee that's called a strike, a lot of players take that pitch. Yeah. Now, because the strike zone is above the knee, they won't take that pitch, they'll swing away, which you're going to see more balls put in play in that aspect. So when I looked at it more, I saw that, which I liked that aspect. But again, get better umpires. The human element is part of the game, but I'm not overly opposed to seeing a robot call balls and strikes. Be consistent. Consistency is key. And you don't see any of that with baseball right now because some of your umpires really are god-awful.
No.
So moving on to a different sport, because I touched on baseball too much. The NFL. Can we bring back fun? Please?
Remember the touchdown dances?
Yeah.
What was that?
Can we please bring back fun? I want fun.
Okay, one rule.
I want people to dance.
I agree with you. One rule I didn't even know about until this past season is that whole, if you're out on a kickoff, if you're out of bounds, and you
that's
touch
an
the
old
ball,
rugby rule.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
You stand out of bounds and grab the ball while you're standing out of bounds. Oh, kick out of bounds. Which, you know what? Shame on the Lions for not knowing that rule.
The ball landed in, like, the Lions actually took advantage of it one game.
Yeah, they did. After they learned it.
It hit him in the balls one game too. Yep. The ball literally stopped at like the 2-yard line.
So a player
just in bounds.
Yep, a player from the return team.
Randall
Cobb stands out of bounds, grabs the ball, kick out of bounds.
Yep.
Which is an old rugby rule that's lasted this long. Which again, though, I don't think that rule's ever been had to be implemented in a game until this past year. So
they said the Packers actually took advantage of it a couple years ago.
Did they? Okay. Before. Now, that again, though, that's a very obscure rule, like the bat it out of the back of the end zone type rule, which, again, Lions were victim of that. Funny. And the other obscure rule, the process rule.
Yeah, so...
Now, again, though...
I thought long and hard about the process rule.
See,
continue.
That right there doesn't bother me. Because it's so small and it's such a meaningless part of the game that they're getting rid of kickoffs to begin with.
It's just so stupid, though.
It is stupid, but again, though, there's... If I'm fighting for rules
It's so simple.
Here,
just write it off.
If I'm fighting for rules here, that's not what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting to bring back dances. I'm fighting for more physical defense again. I'm fighting. It's too easy to play receiver.
Here's one I would fight against.
I want to see cornerbacks be able to put some physicality.
Going to college football, I think that targeting rule should be dumped in the.
Well, I'm talking just the
dumped in the trash, lit on fire, taking a shit on.
The targeting rule is very, very subjective. So it's you're right about that. However, you do have to protect the players a little bit. But now. If I'm fighting for at least one rule change, I'm not fighting for that rule. I'm fighting for bring back the fun. I'm fighting for a thing like bring back the physicality of playing defensive back in the game. I'm fighting for things like can someone define a damn catch, please? Because nobody knows what the fuck a catch is right now.
Keep in mind, I don't want it to. I don't want to go back as far as the catch. I don't want like.
Well, hold on though. I would disagree because what happened to like 5, 6, 7 years ago when it was make a football move, which is 2 steps is a catch.
That's what I'm saying. I want football move to be properly defined because it's way too subjective.
We never seemed to have a problem 7 years ago when a football move was just take 2 steps.
Exactly.
Why can't we go with that again?
But now football move has become so subjective that like.
A guy rolling over is not a football move, but a guy like sitting on his butt is like what the fuck?
No, we saw T.Y. Hilton just this season. He had what was called a catch where he caught the ball and rolled over as he was bobbling the ball, and then the ball hit the ground. but they said him rolling over for
was
the
a
ball
football
was a
move.
football move.
How is that a football move?
Yeah, so I think what they need to do is more define what a football move is. Like I think
See, you know what it is? I don't think anybody knows what a football move is.
That's what I'm saying. They need to lay down specific groundwork.
They definitely need to define what a catch
because
is.
I actually agree with the process rule. I do think that a receiver should maintain possession the whole time.
Yes, but they take it way too far.
It's
Can't believe Spurs sacrificed Tony's knee for a win. See, again though, he is the most expendable player on your team.
They sacrifice. It's not like they offered him up as a sacrificial lamb and said, "I will give you his knee."
You could argue that because again, the Derrick Rose argument. You have the win. You're late in the game.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
You have the win late in the game. Doesn't need to be in the game.
Yeah.
Again, Derrick Rose up by 12 with 2 minutes left towards ACL.
Okay. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, the Derrick Rose argument. So yeah, you could say they sacrificed his knee, but. Again, though, Patty Mills will be a very, very serviceable replacement for him that you won't see much
you've extended your lead.
If there was a guy,
you're up 26 right now. So.
Yeah, if there was a guy I could afford to lose on San Antonio, it's Tony Parker. Trust me. Now, back to football though.
Or Manu.
Manu's been so effective for them
in
these playoffs. Yes. But
I didn't watch game 1. I didn't.
He was effective for them, but now.
No,
the process rule. The process rule is fuck the process, man. Just give me a catch. Call a catch a catch. If the guy's got possession, he brings it in, tucks it in. That's a fucking catch. I don't care if he goes to the ground and drops the ball. No, he caught the ball in bounds and fell over. The ground knocked the ball out. That's not him not making a catch. He was in bounds. He got tackled. He went to the ground. The ball came out. That's a fucking catch.
So you think they should die down the process rule?
I think they should get rid of it.
But are the Spurs able to beat the Warriors?
No. No, I didn't think the Spurs were able to beat the. I don't think Tony Parker's the difference maker. Tony Parker was not going to be able
to keep up with Steph in the first.
No, I don't think Tony Parker's the difference maker in that at all.
If you guys win that series, it's going to be down low.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. That's the only reason you would, and I think you could easily put Patty Mills in, and still that's the same argument. I think Patty Mills even maybe a little bit better in that scenario because he's quicker than Tony Parker.
You got to keep Kawhi on Durant.
Yeah, absolutely.
You let your down low matches play out.
See, the big problem for them is going to be Steph Curry.
You got to hope to God Steph and Clay miss shots.
Yeah,
that's basically what you got to.
Yeah, but Danny Green's going to be an effective defender on.
So I'm saying, but you
Klay
can't.
Thompson, but
you can't start picking and choosing matchups with Kawhi. You just gotta. You gotta keep on Durant.
Yeah, that's it. And Draymond Green's going to hurt you, and Zaza Pachulia probably will hurt you also. But you got the better center in Pau Gasol. Granted, he's 90.
Well, we're jumping ahead here. It's a 1-1 series.
Yeah, but again though. Steph Curry is going to be the one that beats you. If there's anyone in that series who beats you, it's Steph Curry, and that's regardless if you have Tony Parker or Patty Mills on him. I think they're even better served with Patty Mills on him because he's quicker and more agile than Tony Parker. So I think you would have seen a lot more Patty Mills than Tony Parker in that series to begin with.
Yeah.
So, but back to football though, I think they should get rid of the process rule because, again, if a guy goes up, catches a ball, comes down with it in bounds, and then gets shoved out of bounds. It goes to the ground and the ball comes out. How is that not a catch? He caught the ball in bounds, completed the process in bounds. He caught the ball, tucked it in.
Because of the process rules.
Fuck the process rule. I don't care. Calvin Johnson's catch in the end zone was a fucking catch.
So what if someone's bobbling the ball the whole way down?
Okay, you never caught the ball.
Okay.
You have to catch the ball in
still part of
bounds.
the process rule, though.
I understand.
So I think it should just be died down.
Again, though, that's your argument, though. He was bobbling the ball going to the ground.
Yeah.
He never had possession.
Yeah.
I'm talking possession of the ball in bounds, gets pushed to the ground, and the ball comes out. If the ball comes out when he goes to the ground, that's an incomplete pass as it is now, regardless if he had possession in bounds. It's an incomplete pass right now.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Guy had possession in bounds and then was pushed out of bounds.
Yeah.
That's stupid. So that's one rule I changed. Now hockey, the rule I'd like to see changed is
what a hockey here.
What rule do I want to see changed? And I think it was actually a little bit of protecting some of these players' heads a little bit more, which they've done a lot of recently. Now, in the last couple of years, with the hits to the heads, you've seen players get suspended. Now, it's so arbitrary and it's so subjective there whether or not a guy was intentionally going for the head. Because, again, hockey is a very fast sport and shit happens sometimes. See, now, I would say, though, even if it's an accident, you hit a guy in the head, you should be suspended. And what the suspension should be is a different story. Now, that's up for argument. That's also up for how is this guy a repeat offender? If it's a guy like Brad Marchand, who's known for the slew foot, do you know what slew foot is?
No, I have no idea.
Okay, Brad Marchand is a guy who likes to go in behind players, take his leg, and kick out the player's leg from behind him so he falls back.
And that's legal?
No, absolutely
about
not.
to say.
And he's known for it. That's why his nickname is the Rat.
You guys should review every NFL's team's draft. That
Jesus
would be
Christ, that's a long-ass show. That is a long-ass show. But you know what sounds kind of fun?
I don't think we're gonna do. I don't think we could do all 32, but we could.
If you want us
to touch on some.
We could touch on some teams. If you guys want us to touch on a few teams' drafts, we'll study them. We'll go through it. I mean, we know most of the players, obviously, so we'll go through them. And we kind of went through the Lions a little bit today.
I mean, I know most of the players through the first and second rounds. Outside of that, I don't really know much.
Even some of the third rounds,
I'd have to research, but.
But did you know? Okay, I read this today.
What we could do is we can go. We can probably do this on the weekend. On the weekend show, we can say who had the top 3 drafts.
Okay, do you remember back in high school?
We can say who had the worst draft.
Yeah, we could do. We could do. We could do that. But okay, did you know? This is kind of related to the draft. But did you know that? Do you remember back in 2013? Seeing our high school team CC play in the state finals against Cass Tech and get their ass whooped.
Yeah, every year. You mean?
And how Cass Tech won back to back that year.
Yeah.
You know how they had a fantastic secondary. Mm-hmm. Did you know all 4 of those players went pro this year in this draft? That's fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. All 4 of those players on that secondary went pro.
We were playing
Jordan Lewis and Delano Hill are the big 2.
We were playing an NFL team.
Yeah,
that's what we were playing.
Yeah, a future NFL team. I mean, you guys could sum up a team in a few minutes. We probably could. If you want us to this weekend, I bet you. I mean, if we don't have a bunch of topics, we could probably throw that in. We could probably sell a few teams in a few minutes.
Kick off with it. If not too much out in the playoffs, we can kick off.
Yeah, we could do that. But hockey again, though. See, thing is, though, with hockey is I wouldn't change too much about the game as it is. I'd probably get rid of the fucking trapezoid. I think that's kind of stupid. Let the goalies play it however you want. I would get rid of. I would allow fighting more. I think more fighting needs to happen. Granted, fighting's part of hockey, so.
I know fighting is part of hockey, but I've always questioned why that's legal.
Policing.
It's not legal.
It's how they police their sport.
It's not illegal in any other sport.
It's how they police their sport.
Can you imagine in football if they fought? There would be deaths.
I would argue hockey players are tougher.
I'm not saying they're tougher, but I'm saying I think football players would actually try to kill each other.
Oh, so you're saying they're thugs? How racist of you?
I'm not saying they're thugs.
I'm fucking with you, but no, I mean. I would say that, I like fighting in hockey. I think there should be more of it, and the reason is because I like when players police their own sport, police their own games. I don't like when the league has to get involved because you hurt one of my players intentionally. Oh, I'm going to kick your ass for it. I like that. And you know what? 5-minute penalty, 5-minute cooldown, and back out on the ice. Woo! Mm-hmm. So I like that. I think there should be more of it. That's why fighting is allowed because, again, though, it's a physical, high-intensity sport. Sometimes some of these guys need to... Now, I love when it's a full-out fucking brawl. Mm-hmm. There was a game, I think it was last year, where each team this is bad blood coming from a previous game to start this, where they've been talking shit for the whole time. Each team started the game putting all their fighters out on the ice. Started the game. All their fighters are on the ice. That's because the home team has the last choice of who gets put on the ice first. So the away team put all 5 fighters on the ice. Mm-hmm. So the home team says, fuck you guys, we're doing the same thing. So you had these big-ass goonies out on the ice right now. And the refs know what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. They see this, they're like, well, we're in for fun. And we're in for an out-of-control game. And the ref drops the puck. They don't even fucking go for it. Every single player, as soon as puck drops their sticks, drops their gloves, and starts fighting. Every player, they all pair up. It was awesome. First second of the game, you have 5 fights, and it was fucking awesome. The rest of the game went smoothly. They got their shit out. I mean, there were some bad hits. There were some fights, but I fucking loved it. Mm-hmm. I want to see more of that.
But I'm going to move it on to the NBA here real quick. I think the one...
Hack-a-Shack.
Exactly. I think
the Hack-a-Shack rule needs to be gotten rid of. That's the big one.
Well, it's not a rule. They need to put a rule in place.
They need to put a rule in place to get rid of it. Now, how about this, though? What would your rule be?
This would my rule be. First of all, I'm going to preface this by saying outside the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, there's no defending. If inside the last minutes of the fourth quarter, there's no defending you. If you can't shoot a free throw and you get fouled, that's just what happens.
Well, yeah, but I think the guy has to be part of the play at least. Here's my way to protect it.
Okay. Let me get to mine. So, but what I think as far as the whole game is concerned, what you do is if someone is intentional fouled that's away from the play, the coach has the option to either take the free throws or take the ball out of bounds.
I'll disagree with that. And the reason is because you're then changing the game a lot. Because then, what's the bonus at that point? You might as well just get rid of the bonus.
No, it's if it's out of play. If it's out of the
I understand, but then it's see. I don't like arbitrary rules. Like I don't like rules where I get to just choose what I want. See, I want a set rule where if you purposely foul a guy away from the ball any time in the game, I don't care if it's last 2 minutes, last second, or if it's the first minute of the game.
Yeah.
If you foul a guy away from the ball and you're in the bonus, the guy who has the ball currently shoots the free throws. Any point in the game. So point guard has the ball and you intentionally foul the center and you're in the bonus, that point guard shoots the free throws. He has the ball, he shoots the free throws. Now that doesn't protect you if you got the ball in your hands as a center, obviously. Make your fucking free throws at that point. I can't protect you any more than I have. So, I mean, at that point, though, see, that's what I want to see. If you're going to get rid of the Head Shack rule, that's how you do it. Because you're going to force teams to not, because then you got to force them to fight their way to the bonuses because anytime your center gets the ball, then
now what we've seen happen a lot with players, like with bigger centers who can't shoot free throws, is them getting fouled when they're setting a pick, for example. Would you consider that
part of the play? Yes,
so
that
would
is
you
part of the
consider
play.
that being part of the play?
They don't have the ball, in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying, because they don't have the ball in their hand. Would you consider that being part of the play?
Yes, it is part of the play. And
so you would the big man would shoot the free throws in that scenario.
At that point, yes. In the last 2 minutes, I think in the rest of the game, I think you have to have it be where the guy who has the ball takes free throws. Now, see that one, that one's up for grabs for me because you can argue that because it's part of the play, he can be fouled even when not on purpose. So at that point, sure, then you make the big man shoot the free throws, fine. But
then you get in the field of determining whether it was on purpose or not.
I'm not saying if the guy was in the play, you make him shoot the free throws at that point. That's what I'm saying. So even if it was on purpose or not.
Okay.
But again, though, you could still argue that if the guy doesn't have the ball and you foul him, regardless if it was on purpose or not, guy with the ball shoots free throws. Now, if it's a loose ball foul, it's a different story because that's a loose ball. Nobody has possession. So, but again,
Spurs even the series 121-96.
There you go. Spurs win. Woohoo! But guy doesn't have the ball, gets fouled.
Harden held a 13 points on 3 for 17 shooting.
Damn. Again, close out.
Yo, was Kawhi? I want to know, was Kawhi and Harden most of the game? Because I'd asked Nick earlier, because I didn't get to watch game 1, what percentage of possessions he was on Kawhi the first game.
I really don't know.
Or Kawhi was on Harden the first game. But I'm curious, because Harden shot pretty bad. 3 for 17, 13 points.
But he does that, though.
I know, but I want to know if Kawhi, if that's Kawhi being on him, or...
No.
Anyway.
But that's one of the rule changes I'd make. Now, the second rule change I would make is... Can we get rid of the fact that this is such a superstar-dominated league by enforcing the same rules for everyone? And I mean, get a nice even rule set for everyone, which we already have, and enforce it on everyone.
Yeah.
And not allow guys like LeBron James to take 17 steps
like
going to the
Kelly
basket.
Oubre drive the basket, get hit, but he gets misses, but no call. Then you get someone like LeBron
moved to the basket, someone blows in his ears, and he gets 7 free throws. So, United shit, what's going on, man? These nuts! What's this YouTube link, my friend?
Oh, man.
What's this YouTube link? Eddie Grant, Electric Avenue.
Jesus Christ, you got Electric Avenue.
I've never been Electric Avenue, but thank you. Now, are you guys award-winning listeners? Sure.
Award-winning listeners? I didn't know it was a thing.
Me neither. But anyways, see, I want a rule set for every player, enforced on every player. Yeah. I don't want to see LeBron or James Harden or Russell Westbrook going to the hoop, getting someone tickle him and getting 7 free throws.
Fair referee.
I want a fair refereed game.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Gotcha. But those are my rule changes. Yeah. Now, would you propose any rule changes for soccer?
Jesus Christ.
I would just get rid of flopping altogether.
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking about DN?
D's nuts.
D's nuts. Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. D's nuts. Haha.
Thank you, Alan Lizard.
But now that's our rule change. You got anything else to add?
No, that's about all I have.
Okay, so we're gonna take you to our last topic of the night, which is it's the beginning of summer blockbuster movies.
May 1st. Well, it's May 4th now. But
yeah, but May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, it's not May 4th. May the 4th be with you guys. May the 4th be with you.
So obviously, summer, biggest time of the year for movies, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some big ones coming out. And so we're going to go through, we're going to talk about our most anticipated,
That's what we'll start off with.
We'll start off with that. We're going to move into the ones we think are going to be the most successful. We're going to name you guys the ones that we think are going to flop. And we're going to talk about our dark horse, who we think was a movie that's going to surprise everyone. So I'll let you start it off here, my friend. We're pulling out some lists.
I'm going to start off with my most anticipated. For one that's coming out very soon here, Alien Covenant.
Ooh, I forgot to add that to my list. That's a good one.
Alien
I like
Covenant's one of my most anticipated. It's the first true Alien sequel, the fifth in the series. Since, 97 with Alien Resurrection? 96, 97?
So then by that premise, would you go with The Mummy, too?
And Alien Resurrection was fucking terrible.
Yes, it was.
So,
would you go with The Mummy, too? Would you go with The Mummy also,
Well,
then?
The Mummy's also on my list for most anticipated. One, because it looks like we're finally getting a horror mummy movie, not like the... Not saying the Brendan Fraser ones weren't good. They were fun, campy movies, but they weren't by any means like quality films. So I'm really looking, and on top of that, you're kicking off the MonsterVerse.
You are kicking off the MonsterVerse, which we both bought on heavily, so we were super high on that. Now let me do mine before you ruin any of mine.
Okay. I'll let you take the next two.
One I'm really anticipating is Annabelle.
Okay.
Because I want them to redeem themselves. I think James Wan made the right moves by getting the lights out director
in that movie.
Yep.
David Sandberg? Is David F. Sandberg? Was that his name?
I think that's his name. And James Wan producing it also is going to have his hands in it. So I like the director pick. I like the movie style, and I think you're going to turn that series around a little bit. So definitely liking that one. That I love horror. Another one is War of Planet of the Apes.
That's on mine.
That is one that they haven't gotten an Apes movie wrong. I mean, those movies are...
Well, Tim Burns was...
Okay. The newer ones.
Yeah, of this trilogy.
Yeah,
the first two were fantastic.
This trilogy, the first two were awesome. Yeah. And so I expect nothing but with this
When you
one.
said they haven't gotten Apes movie, I was about to call over and slap you, because I thought you were going to say right. I was like... You're about to get kicked out of that chair in a second.
My God, I love those movies. Are you shitting me? No, but... So I have no reason to believe that this movie won't be anything but fantastic. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. The other one, and I'm going completely different here, and just because of who's in the movie, is Baywatch.
Oh wow, okay. That one's not on my list. Not saying I'm anticipating, but that one is not on my top 5 list.
It's not okay. I'm not going top 5 here. I'm just naming random movies. Yeah. Now, the reason I want to look forward to Baywatch is I think it's just gonna be fucking hilarious. It's just gonna be a terrible movie that's absolutely awesome and hilarious, and that's what I'm down with. If I'm going to see a movie like that, that's what I want to see, and that's what I'm gonna get when it comes to Baywatch. Now, another movie I want to throw out there, which let
me get in here.
You're not gonna say this one because it doesn't count. All right, this movie does not count. Apparently, because it's not a summer blockbuster, it's too late. I'm going to throw it in because I'm so fucking excited.
Well, you don't even like clowns.
That's why I love it. You may talk.
Anyway, Jesus. One of my most anticipated of the whole summer is Spider-Man: Homecoming. I've been looking forward to that since they teased that at the end of Civil War. I'm loving the I can't remember who initially designed that Spider-Man logo for the comics, but I love that style logo. That's the style of cartoon that you're watching too, was that style. So I'm really looking forward to it. And another one is Dunkirk. The Christopher Nolan war film.
Yes, I forgot about that movie. That movie looks awesome.
Took a small hit in my book when they said it was rated PG-13, but I still trust Christopher Nolan.
See, that
I don't know what the hell he's going for right now.
That bothers me so much when you say that, when you utter the words PG-13 for a war movie. That scares me. That screams.
And you've got actors like Tom Hardy and Kenneth Branagh in there. I mean, it's not like.
But a PG-13 war movie.
Great director.
A PG-13 war movie screams flop.
I know, I agree, but Christopher Nolan does not scream flop.
I know. Now I'll start off with the successes.
All right.
Now the ones I think that are going to be very successful are obviously War of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
I think that one's going to be a fantastic hit. Hitman's Bodyguard, I think, is going to be a big success.
Oh, with Ryan Reynolds and Samuel Jackson.
I think it's going to be a good mix of funny with a lot of action. With
I think it'll do well.
Good chemistry. I think it'll be a good success.
Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool.
I think it'll be a good success. I think it'll work out well for him. I'd like to. It's going to be a very interesting dynamic between those two, because you got motherfucker and Samuel and Deadpool. So it'll be very interesting to see those two working together. I'm thinking of another one here because I only wrote down 2 because I was short on time.
I have a couple for you. What do you think? I think the most successful movie of the summer, the big one of the summer, will be Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Even if it's not a good movie, it's gonna be a successful movie because it's it's Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel itself is a draw, so you're gonna see a success there.
Now, one that I think you can almost guarantee a huge opening weekend, but as far as how well it does, it actually will depend on how good the movie is Wonder Woman.
I was gonna say Wonder Woman. Wow, I'm surprised you would call it a success then. Just because it has a good opening weekend? I wouldn't call Batman vs. Superman a success.
It made a lot of money.
I still wouldn't call it a success. That movie was bad.
Yeah, I'm talking about financially, though.
I'm talking overall. I'm talking overall success here. I'm talking overall success.
So I think just based on the fact that the superhero movie, it's whether it's good or bad, it might have the legs to carry it to a pretty good profit. So I think Wonder Woman will be one of the successes you see this summer. The other one,
I think The Mummy will be a big success.
Wait, did you say War of the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my first.
The Mummy's
I think The Mummy is going to be a big
next
success
one on my
this year
list.
also. Yep.
Mummy's the next one on my
list.
list.
Just because it's a different twist, you're going horror style, and you're introducing. Extended universes are so
Tom
big
Cruise
right
is
now.
a big summer draw,
yes,
too.
he is a big summer draw. Now, Extended Universe is so big right now that the fact that this is supposed to be the opening part of it in Extended Universe is a big draw also.
Yeah.
Because people want to see the dynamics. Because I think, just like in most other Extended Universes, you see a little bit of a tease of some of the other monsters.
And the ads for this have been everywhere, too.
Yes, but you also see a little bit of a tease of some of the future movies, which is, I think, what they should do and what they're going to. So, and people are going to look forward to that alone. So, I think that's going to be a big draw in itself. So, I think The Mummy's going to be a big success.
My last one is also one of my dark horse picks. I think you're going to see it being a success, much in the veins of Get Out, is It Comes at Night with Joel Edgerton.
I actually just watched the trailer for the first time on that. I probably have seen I actually
the new trailer, because I'm kind of avoiding the new trailer. I heard it gives away a little bit too much as far as
never mind, probably wasn't the new trailer because it didn't really give away that much for me. But It Comes at Night seemed you know what, it was the new trailer because I kind of get it now. But
because I still have no idea what it's about. Watching the trailer I watched,
it looks straight up pretty damn scary. I'm not gonna lie, and it looks like it's gonna be pretty good.
And it's coming. I can't remember what movies it's being released alongside, but it's where it's being released. It does not have the greatest competition, so I think it might be open season for that movie to clean up.
Especially for a horror movie, though. It's
actually, wait, it is coming along. It's coming on The Mummy.
Never mind. It's massive competition.
Never mind. But after you have Cars 3 and you have Transformers,
Cars 3 is going to make a lot of money.
Baby Driver and Despicable
Cars 3 is going to make a lot of money.
For kids, it's a completely different market you're targeting.
Not just kids, my friend.
But, well, adults taking their kids.
Not just that either. You're going to see a lot of older people watching.
Anyway, flops.
Transformers.
I have that one as well.
That is going to be a massive flop because those movies straight up suck.
One is just numbers. Age of Extinction, was that the last one?
I don't even just care. I don't even fuck the numbers. These movies suck.
Well, Age of Extinction made.
What is Michael Bay doing?
First of all,
besides blowing shit
up. The first
four
movies of the first movie didn't make was mildly successful. The second movie made a boatload of money. Third movie dropped. Fourth movie dropped to about $260 million was the box office haul. This budget is $280. So you're expecting this movie to reverse the trend.
And 98% of that's explosions.
Yeah, and you're expecting this movie to reverse the trend and actually make more money than its predecessor, which not a movie has done since the second one.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
And that's just based off how good the first movie was.
I straight up see this movie losing money.
Exactly. I agree.
$280 million budget. I don't see it. Well, now what's it going up against? Because that's gonna be a big difference maker.
It's coming out right after The Mummy and Comes the Night. Then June 16th, you got Cars 3, All Eyes on Me, and then you have Transformers. After Transformers, you got Baby Driver, Despicable Me 3, and then Spider-Man: Homecoming. So Transformers, yeah, it doesn't look very, very good. But Transformers has about 2 weeks to make its money before Spider-Man comes in. That's all I'm saying.
Is that supposed to be another Amityville horror?
Yeah.
Is that touched by James Wan?
No.
Okay.
Nothing to do with James Wan.
Okay.
So Transformers is about 2 weeks to make its money before Spider-Man comes in.
That's plenty of time.
Before Spider-Man
Granted,
comes
now,
in.
there's going to be a lot of people that will not see Spider-Man, but will see Transformers still, because there are still cult followings of Transformers.
And those are people I don't talk to.
Yeah, same. Those are people that we kindly yet politely yet firmly asked to leave. Now, again though, if I were a fan of action movies like that, I'd probably see both.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I am a fan of those, but I have no intention to see Transformers because I have standards. So, but what's another movie you think could flop? I think Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's one that is a massive, massive flop.
It's got flop potential. It's not in my top 5 though.
Really?
Yeah. The other one I have that's coming out, I think next week or a couple weeks from now. It comes out this month. is King Arthur, and not because I think it's gonna be a bad movie. I think just the interest might not be there.
I agree with you there. The interest may not be there.
People might not buy into Charlie Hunnam as leading man, and also the advertising for it has been kind of non-existent.
It's been very low, and so no doubt about that. Now, what's the budget for that?
But
movie?
as far as do I think it's gonna be a good movie? I actually think it's gonna be at the very least
$102 million. So it's got a low budget.
It's not a big.
So that's not really a big budget. You could see that movie make quite a considerable amount of money. Mm-hmm. Now,
but when you also talk about it's going up against Alien Covenant,
two completely different styles of movie.
Which then again, if you hadn't seen the initial Alien movies, you might not be going to see Alien Covenant.
Right, and again though, completely different style of movie. You're going to get completely different movie fans going to see those movies. So I think it'll be fairly successful. I don't see great success coming out of it. So argue that it's a flop. Sure, I can understand that, but I can also argue that's success because of the low budget.
My next one, Dark Tower.
Really?
And not because
I have that as a dark horse.
See, it was a waiver here. It was a waiver between the two, and the reason I put it as a flop is because one, the movie has been so often delayed. It was supposed to come out.
Well, then at that point, you better hope they get it right.
So,
he said Kawhi and Green were shutting him down. Okay, so Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green were shutting him down, which makes sense, which is what I said. Mm-hmm. You're going to put guys like Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green on him, and he's going to struggle.
Yeah.
So that works. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they got to keep doing. And you know what? That's what they got to do to Kevin Durant, too. Because you can probably play both Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard on them and interchangeably play Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant on those two. Now, if the lineup that is going to give San Antonio fits is again the lineup of death for Golden State because you're moving Day to the 5, which means you have to sit Zaza down. Mm-hmm. You have to play, you're moving to which means you have to sit Pau Gasol down, which means Aldridge is going to be playing on Day, which is a mismatch, and then you're going to have Kevin Durant at the 4, which Kawhi Leonard doesn't really work at the 4, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a problem. Houston loves the pick and roll. Oh my God, that's all they run. That's all they run. That's all they know how to run. So that's going to be an interesting scenario because then you got to worry about Iguodala abusing Danny Green because of the size.
Yeah.
So you may have to play Kawhi on Iguodala at that point, which is kind of a waste. So that's going to be a tough matchup for San Antonio. But back to the movies.
But as far as Dark Tower, first of all, what was the budget for that movie? Because that one I wasn't sure about. I didn't get a chance to look it up. But the reasons I think
$60 million.
That's not a very big budget at all.
No, it's
but
low as shit.
The reason I
how can you not make money on that?
But the thing is first of all, with this,
hey, thanks for the follow, Pugula. What's going on, man?
Other than the fact that it got very often delayed and the studio wasn't really showing much confidence in this movie, because 2. They waited till now, a couple months for release, to finally release the first trailer. And second,
the advertising behind it's going to cause it to struggle a little bit. However, I don't see this is one of those movies that I don't see being a big first weekend movie. It's going to be a bigger second and third weekend movie. It's one of those movies that's going to build momentum as opposed to drop off momentum.
That's contingent upon it getting good reviews. Then
yes, it is going to need good reviews.
But that third weekend movie if the reviews trash it.
Right now, I do think I do have some hope for this movie because I do. I like the story behind it. It seems like it's going to be.
I love the story. I really want to see it.
It's going to be a really cool movie.
Really,
so
really want to see it.
That's why it's my dark horse. I don't want the budget. I just want the whole movie.
But the other reason is
because
they finally released the trailer.
The cast for it is awesome, and plus,
Matthew McConaughey
is the author of Dark Tower to begin with.
Yeah,
so Stephen King himself is a big draw.
That series, and I've never gotten the chance. Not gotten the chance. I never actually read that series. It is an intimidating read. It's I think it's 12, 13 books now.
Yeah, but
each book is 1,000+ pages.
Yeah,
but it is a
Matthew
commitment.
McConaughey and Idris Elba are massive draws for movies. So people right there alone are going to want to see it because of that. So I think you got draw because.
But as far as the material, you might not many people are familiar with it at all, unless you're a Stephen King fan.
Right, but again, though, the name Stephen King itself is a draw. So even if you don't know the material, you know the name, and that's what's going to want you to see that movie. Because, I mean, it's Stephen King. Yeah. Again, the madman, the mastermind behind fantastic literature.
And then the other reason why I think it's either going to work. This is either going to work really well in its advantage or against it, is because this is kind of a Western sci-fi epic.
which I think is fucking awesome.
But here's the thing: most people that like westerns aren't fans of sci-fi. Most people like sci-fi aren't the fans of westerns.
True,
and you saw we're against a movie with a movie like Cowboys and Aliens.
Okay, but that movie was a fucking joke. This movie is supposed to be a lot more dark and serious than that.
Yeah.
Now that movie was just a fucking joke. Now that's not even just going western sci-fi. That's straight up western versus sci-fi, which is something that is a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Western sci-fi works because we've actually kind of seen it before.
And
Jumper and Looper and movies of that sort. We've
Looper
seen western sci-fi.
I wasn't as big a fan of Jumper, but Looper was fantastic.
We've seen that style movie before, which was a little bit western and a lot of it sci-fi, which is what I think this movie's going to be. And we saw it with... Fuck, it was a movie with... God, this is going to piss me off. The movie where each person had their own special power... I want to say, why does the name Justin Timberlake come to mind?
Each person had their own special power.
Each person had their own special power. Like, one person could read minds ahead of time. One person could predict the future. One person could...
This is like a young adult movie?
It's not In Time. It's not Runner.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But let me get to my last
I saw this movie not too long ago. It was a pretty sweet movie.
Let me get to my last flop pick. It's Snatched. And much as largely based on... One, the trailer barely made me laugh at all. Second,
I can't think of it.
Basically the bad rap that Amy Schumer has been getting lately, I think is going to really hurt this movie.
Yeah, not just that, but Amy Schumer herself is fucking terrible, and people aren't buying into her anymore.
That's what I'm saying. The bad rap she's getting in general.
Not just a bad rap. She's just not funny anymore. All her jokes are the exact same as they've been for the last 5 years. She's just not funny.
Her last special got trashed.
Yeah, she's just not entertaining anymore. Nobody likes her. It's not just the bad rap that she's gotten for the publicity stuff, like because of the political stuff. It's just she's not entertaining anymore. She's just done.
So I'm saying, so regardless of what
the movie, people, you see Amy Schumer, people are just not going to want to go see
exactly.
it. Like, and I'm one of those people. So I don't think she's funny. I really don't. She makes stupid ass vagina jokes, and they're the same jokes she's made for 5 years now. So she needs new material, and she needs to just not do anything.
And I can't remember if I said this or not already. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Telling Tales.
You think that's gonna flop?
I think that is going to flop.
Really? Now you're forgetting the fact that these movies are wildly successful.
I'm hoping I'm wrong. The last one was not that successful.
It was still pretty successful. What was the last one called?
What was the last one called? Just type in 4. Type in Pirates of the Caribbean 4.
Let's look at the budget.
250 million on Stranger Tides. Yeah.
And
gross.
1.505 billion. You're telling me that's not successful?
I did not know it made over $1 billion.
Yeah. That was all these movies are wildly successful. So you're talking about a several $billion-dollar movie franchise here, and also, by the way, the most recognizable name in movies.
I was going with much of the same logic I was taking with Transformers, which is the first movie was good, second movie was serviceable, entertaining, third and fourth were terrible. And we'll be back to the
son of a bitch. Sorry, guys. I pushed.
Third and fourth were terrible. So,
what did that make? This made $309 million. The third one, which
worldwide $963.
What?
$963 is what it made.
$963. Damn, holy shit! These movies made a fuck ton of money.
Meaning it made most of its.
This one made 1.05.
Yeah, looks like they're making most of this, most of their money.
So I'm failing to see where you're seeing any of these movies be unsuccessful.
Looks like they're making most of their monys overseas, but
which doesn't surprise me. I mean, again, but I'm still failing to see where you're seeing nothing but success.
I'm again just going off the fact that it's coming off 2 bad films. That's where I'm going off.
But the money says they weren't bad films. You thought it was a bad film, but obviously people didn't because
I got terrible reviews. But
so who cares?
Yeah, you can just look at Rotten Tomatoes.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
For Rotten Tomatoes. It got Stranger Tides Rotten Tomatoes. Survey says 32%. Yeah, it did get. I mean, but the audience score gave it a 54, so the audience liked it better than
the critics, but still.
Yeah, let's look at
still rotten.
It was rotten, no doubt, but I mean, again though, you're talking about a wildly. That's this one. Talking about a wildly successful.
That's the first one. At World's End was the last one.
So that one did really well.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah. At World's End. That's what we're looking for. Which 72% audience score. People like that movie. Critics didn't really, but people did. 72% is a good score. What's the other one? Dead Man's Chest. That's what I'm looking for. That one got 72 again. These movies weren't that unsuccessful at all. According to the audience, people loved them.
I don't agree with the audience all the time.
I mean, okay, the fourth one was... I don't agree with critics all the time. I mean, I tend to agree with the audience more than I do the critics, personally. So, but people like these movies. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you're talking about the
What's the budget for this one?
I don't know. Pirates 5 budget. $320 million. So a big budget. Now... I think this movie...
they had a $250 million budget. They went $70 million over.
I think this movie eclipses...
That's a pretty conservative budget for a movie that made the last
Oh,
absolutely.
$1 billion. Granted, it's been a while, too.
Yeah.
But I don't see this movie doing any worse than $1 billion. So, with the way that the movie market is going, if Fate of the Furious can hit $1 billion, this movie's hitting $1 billion.
Well, Fate of the Furious is coming off a bunch of good movies. This one doesn't have that luxury. But
coming off wildly successful movies, though.
Here's another thing.
It does have that luxury because they're wildly successful.
Here's another thing. You got Pirates of the Caribbean coming out May 26th. Right after that, Wonder Woman.
Okay, I think Pirates... I think, again, though, different people are watching these movies. Pirates of the Caribbean is going to get your more fringe... Wonder Woman won't get your fringe movie fan. Wonder Woman will get your superhero movie fan. Not many, though. Not many. It won't get many because, again, you're talking about a very bad production company that people don't like now.
You know, get a bunch of guys who aren't superhero fans going to see just for Gal Gadot.
Well, yeah, okay, I'd say you're getting much less guys going for that than you're getting girls going with their boyfriend to see Johnny Depp.
Girls are gonna. I think you're gonna see girls turn out for Wonder Woman because I think
you're seeing a woman lead.
Yeah, well, this movie.
I think you're going to see more women willing to go to see Pirates of the Caribbean because of Johnny Depp than you will see Wonder Woman because of Gal Gadot. I mean, but Johnny Depp is a massive draw, much larger draw than pretty much anybody in any of these movies coming out this summer.
Yeah,
he's Johnny fucking Depp, and that's why I think that's one of the big reasons I think this movie is going to be wildly successful because it's...
You don't have one of your most successful though.
What?
Either. You don't have your most successful.
No, I don't. I think it's going to be just successful. I don't think it's going to be one of the most successful. It's not going to be a surprise. This isn't a... See, that movie's not going to surprise me at successful. It's not. It'll surprise me if it fails. It'll surprise me big time if it flops because it's a Pirates movie. Those movies never flop. Those movies are never, ever flop potential movies. Those movies are always boom movies. Yeah. Maybe it's either big boom or huge boom.
Don't get me wrong. I hope this is the best one since the first one.
I do too. Don't trust me. I do too. But again, these movies are always either big boom or huge boom. They're never flop or boom. They're never boom or bust. They're always big boom or huge boom. I can see it being a big boom and that being a little bit of a letdown, but it's still going to be a big boom. It's still like they're Pirates movies. They're not going to flop. They're not going to fail. It's going to be a good movie at worst. It could good to with potential to be a fucking awesome movie. So that's why I'm saying that I really don't see this being even having the potential to flop. Just because of the cast you have, the stories you have, and the fact that it's part of one of the most successful franchises in the last 20 years in movie, when it comes to movies. So I can't see it being a flop. Now, moving on to our dark horses here. Obviously, I obviously mentioned Dark Tower as a dark horse. It's got a smaller budget. It's a movie that's kind of gone under the radar a little bit, but I think
the one I already mentioned is It Comes at Night.
Yeah, with the draw being Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, which I think that's one that could be very successful. Not stupid successful, but successful enough to where people say, "Hey, that was actually a really good movie."
I really hope so.
Now, the one that
I want this series to continue.
I do too, but now the one that I think is going to be really successful, and it's because movies of this sort seem to not have big draws going in, but seem to be just absolutely fantastic movies.
And get legs based on word of mouth.
Yes, and get legs based on that is Detroit. And obviously that's totally biased because I'm from the city of Detroit. This is about a bad time in Detroit. Yeah. It's not about a good time in Detroit.
And it has a fantastic cast.
Absolutely. And it's a fantastic story. And movies of this type are wildly successful. This documentary, this faux documentary type, this dramatized documentary is such a successful style of movie, and people eat this shit up and love to see
John Krasinski, John Boyega, Will Poulter, you got Anthony Mackie, Jason Mitchell,
and I'm one of those people that eats that shit up and would love to go see that movie. I mean, Silence is one of those, for example. Yeah. And the only way I think this movie, who's directing this movie? Catherine Bigelow. The only way I could see this movie being any better.
Her name? What did she direct? Zero Dark Thirty and Her.
Zero Dark 30. Yeah,
okay. She's got some good movies.
Yeah, she does. Now, the only way I really see this movie being any more successful than what I think it's going to be is if Martin Scorsese directed it. and he's that because that movie is kind of right up his fucking alley.
Yeah.
So, but I have nothing but confidence in Catherine, whatever her name was.
Scorsese was good with the streets.
He's good
with the streets.
Yes, he is. But again though, director of Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30, I have no problems with that at all. She's got some great movies. She's gonna put out a fantastic movie in Detroit. It's gonna be just a great movie, and you're gonna see it build in momentum as the weeks go by. People are gonna want to see it, but you're gonna see people that don't normally go out to see movies go to see this movie.
Yeah.
You're going to see the older generations go out and see because a lot of them lived through it. You're going to see them go out and watch this movie. You're going to see, the 70s, 60s, 50-year-olds and the 40s, 30s, and obviously the 20-year-olds are going to want to see it too because, again, it's a fantastic movie. So you're going to see a lot of different demographics of people going to see this movie where you wouldn't in other films. So definitely a good dark horse there for me.
One of my dark horses, I also have Detroit on there, so that's 2. It comes in Detroit. One of my dark horses is The Big Sick, which is a new Judd Apatow movie. Okay. And I think it's going to gain legs based. It's starring Kumail Nanjiani.
Today.
But yeah, it's a new it's a new Judd Apatow movie, and it got rave reviews at Sundance. Okay. It's still carries 100% Rotten Tomatoes. Doesn't come out yet though. Wow. But
what's up with movies carrying 100% so late?
And I think it's gonna be one of those movies that gains legs on its word of mouth.
I kind of agree with that. I don't doubt that. I mean, it's
and again, it's a Judd Apatow comedy, which
any
people like.
type of Get Out was one of those movies that really gained on word of mouth, gained legs on word of mouth, and that's again, it's because of the fact that it got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes after Sundance, which is huge after the critics saw it, and that's huge because people see that they're like, holy shit, this movie's got to be fantastic, and that's going to be the same situation with this one.
And it was fantastic.
What Get Out? Okay, but. And I expect nothing else with this movie. I mean, it's not a really well-known movie. There's no doubt about that. You said it was The Big Sick? Yeah. I mean...
If you see it, and the trailer for it is also hysterical.
Is it?
It is hysterical.
I mean, it's not like it's down to 97% now. Oh. It did drop down to 97%, which still fucking fantastic. Oh, it's Bo Burnham. Anything Bo Burnham done.
Oh, he's in there?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice him in the trailer.
Anything
he's got Ray Romano.
Yeah. Anything Bo Burnham is involved with is going to be fucking hilarious because he's so goddamn creative. Yeah. And
I don't know how big of a role he has in this movie. But
I don't either, but still, he's got his name in it. And
Kumail Nanjiani kills me every time. And Mike and Dave, he was hilarious as a masseuse.
But it's going to be a good movie. It's, again, a movie that's got 97%, which you don't see that a lot with movies that are leaning down the comedy side. Yeah. You don't see that. I mean, it's a rom-com, and you never see 97% when it comes to a rom-com. You see 45% a good rom-com, and 55% a fantastic rom-com. So to see 97%, something about this movie is just absolutely fucking awesome. So that really makes me excited about that, and I want to see it now. Just because of that, I will want to go see it.
And my other one, and this is a real dark horse, because this movie could either be fantastic or it could be a complete flop. It could be terrible. What? Valerian. Okay. And it's a new sci-fi movie directed by Luc Besson, who also did The Fifth Element, who did The Professional, which is a great movie.
Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets?
Yeah, that one. Okay. And Lucy. And this movie has a great cast, too. It's got Dane DeHaan, Scott Levine, Clive Owen, Ethan Hawke,
budget
John
for a lower
Goodman.
name film. $180 million is a big budget for a lower name.
Well, yeah, it's a huge sci-fi epic is what's supposed to be.
Yeah, now, I'm not very hugely high on PG-13 sci-fi movies. I think sci-fi movies, again, are screaming for rated R.
Oh, yeah, Star Wars.
I know, but Star Wars isn't...
Star Trek.
Star Wars and Star Trek are so different, though. When it comes to modern-day sci-fi movies, most of them, to be any good, need to be rated R. Because you need the action, you need the violence, you need the gore, you need the good stuff. That's how you make a good sci-fi movie nowadays.
Which is why we like District 9 so much.
Yes, District 9, Alien movies. I mean,
Alien.
Elysium. Like, movies like that. That's what you need in sci-fi movies to be really successful. Now, this movie does look like it could be pretty good. I mean, it's one that I do want to see. It looks like it's going to be a sci-fi epic, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it looks like...
And the cast is also another thing that's
Ethan Hawke is a huge
John
name.
Goodman. Rihanna.
John Goodman. Rihanna? I don't know how I feel about her. Because I don't see Rihanna being a great actress.
You got Clive Owen. She was great in this at the end.
Cara Delevingne's a good name, though.
Yeah.
But...
She's cute.
Yeah. But Ethan Hawke is a huge...
Dane DeHaan is a fantastic actor. Very underrated.
Agreed. So, I mean, you got a great cast in here. John Goodman's just a voice, but...
No, he's a fantastic... Oh, in this, he's just a voice. I thought you were saying in general just a voice. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But, I mean, I have high hopes for this.
And the directors. I mean, I love The Fifth Element. I love The Professional. I've not seen Lucy.
Right.
But, I mean, the directors direct some really good movies, some good sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
So,
Luke Besson. I mean, he's definitely got some good movies under his belt. Let's see. He's got Taken 2, which was not a good movie.
Yeah.
Transporter 2 was a good movie.
Did he
was a writer. Yeah. Transporter 2, he wrote Transporter 2?
I don't know.
That was a good movie. Fifth Element, he was a writer for the Fifth
he directed
Element.
it too. Here, let's go with directors. That'll make it easier for you.
Director, okay, here we go. The Family, The Lady, Lucy. He did direct Lucy, which was actually a pretty solid movie.
I did not see Lucy. Bunch of no-name movies.
The Fifth Element was a good movie.
Yeah. Leon the Professional was fantastic. Professional. Other than that, a bunch of La Femme Nikita.
A lot of them are French movies.
Yeah, he's a French
director.
director.
This does have a special French release date. So, he wrote Taxi too. Really?
I'm not familiar with that movie.
District 13 Ultimatum.
I think you get into writing. I think you get into writing here. But so yeah, that one again. Like I said, this could flop. This could be insanely successful. It's a good movie.
Absolutely, it totally could flop
because it's the only movie of its
kind. See, the way it'll flop is if it's not a good movie and it just never takes off because of that.
Yeah,
I mean, if it gets flopped, if it gets
it's going to have to be a good movie.
Early reviews,
this is not a movie that's going to be successful just based off name.
Because it doesn't have a name.
That's why it's a dark horse.
So, but no, it's boom or bust with this one, and I see potential to boom.
It's the only movie of its kind in the summer release slate. So
it is. You are right about that. Definitely right about that. Now, is this supposed to be like a utopian type movie?
Honestly, I haven't even seen a trailer for this movie yet. I think they did release one recently, but I have not seen it. I kind of want to go in this one blind, to be honest with you.
I do too.
I kind of want to be surprised.
No,
anyway,
needless to say, though, there's a fuck ton of movies that we're seeing this summer.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna be a busy summer when it comes to that.
My last one is Baby Driver.
Really? Do you find Gentleman Acquire Woman? I actually live with my girlfriend, so yeah, technically.
Niggas get hoes. So we ignored him. But so my last one is Baby Driver. And also that's one that's gotten really good initial reviews. And it looks like a fantastic concept. It's a music-driven action movie. It's not a musical, but basically
very interesting premise.
Basically, they use the music as a character almost because
what's going on?
Music plays a
way.
central role in the film.
Thanks for coming out.
You know, it's not a musical. Music plays a central in the film, and it looks like an adrenaline rush of a movie.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. The music aspect in an action movie.
Not a musical.
I know. It's a music aspect to it, and that I always find to be very unfitting.
It's got 100% currently Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
It's an Edgar Wright film.
I do.
It's got Kevin Spacey.
I still find the music centralized movie being an action movie being unfitting.
Here's the plot synopsis. A talented young getaway driver relies on the beat of his personal soundtrack to be the best in the game. But after being coerced into working for a crime boss played by Kevin Spacey, he must face the music when a doomed heist threatens his life, love, and freedom. I think you might find this movie being one of the best soundtracks of the summer. I'll tell you that right now.
Probably. Now, I will say, based off of that synopsis, I think it sounds stupid.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why the fuck would someone listen to his
Remember, it's an action comedy. Remember that. It's not a pure...
Right. Why the fuck would someone listen to their soundtrack to be the basis of
a getaway driver? He's a getaway driver.
I understand.
It's
but
what
the beat of his soundtrack... I mean, I get putting on music while you're getaway driving, but that's not how it makes my decisions.
That's how he focuses, I guess. I don't...
That sounds
fucking
stupid.
You should watch the trailer. It looks
See,
awesome.
I like getaway drivers like Jason Statham and Transporter 2 who just don't talk and are just mysterious and just badasses.
I think it's gonna be one of those really unique, stylish movies. That gets,
don't get me wrong. I just think don't get me wrong. I think this movie could be really good. I just think the plot synopsis behind it sounds stupid. I'm not saying it's going to be. I just think it could be, and it sounds like it is. But I will definitely go see it because it sounds funny and sounds good. But it just sounds stupid. But again, I've heard stupider that has been really good. So, I mean, if you were to look at
and from the reviews,
if you were to look at the Star Wars plot basis behind it, you would probably say that sounds stupid as fuck without knowing what they are, and they're fantastic movies. So, but again, though, that itself sounds kind of dumb, but I still will see it and probably will love it. So,
and again, the cast: you got Jamie Foxx, you got John Hamm, Ansel Elgort, Kevin Spacey, and John Bernthal. That's a really good
great cast. There's no doubt about that. That's a fantastic.
With Edgar
cast.
Wright, who did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz.
Oh, I'm gonna love this already. Motherfucker did Shaun of the Dead. That's one of my favorite comedy movies right there. You got my boy Shaun of the Dead. Oh fuck, I'm seeing it. 100%.
So that one sold you. Is that
Edgar Wright sold it for me.
So you trust him?
Absolutely. How could you not? He did Shaun of the Dead. How could you not trust the guy who did Shaun of the Dead?
Anyway, do you have any more dark horses?
No, that's it for me.
That's about all.
Yeah,
that's about it. As well.
Here's what we're gonna do. Fuck, I can't remember the goddamn line. Fuck, this is gonna piss me off. Fuck, man.
You're leaving me hanging. What are we gonna do? You said here's what.
Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna
do.
I gotta read it, okay?
You're killing me here.
Quotes. Here we go. It's probably the most well-known quote in the entire movie. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We take Pete's car, we drive over to Mom's, we go in, take care of Philip. I'm so sorry, Philip. Then we grab Mom, we go over to Liz's, hole up, and have a cup of tea and wait for this whole thing to blow over. Never mind, that doesn't work. Take car, go to Mom's, kill Phil. Sorry, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, wait for all this to blow over. How's that for a slice of fried gold? That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, boy!
That line was not in the movie, my friend. But no, anybody who does Shaun of the Dead, I'm down with. So if he's doing something,
that actually was in the movie, but okay.
What?
That's the follow up to that line.
Oh yeah, it is. But no, I definitely. Yeah. But no, that's all my dark horses.
Anyway, that's everything we got for you guys tonight.
That is it. It was a long ass show.
Holy
long fuck! Show. We did a lot on playoffs. We did a lot on IT4.
That's because we went into the draft and we talked about aging running backs.
We did talk about aging running backs. So yeah.
Well, we spent a lot of time on IT4. We spent a lot of time on playoffs. We spent a lot of time on some Blockbusters.
We did. Which, you know what? That's fine with me because I like talking about that shit. That's my shit.
Oh, yeah. I think we had a nice little, robust topic this day. So
very well rounded, I must say. So, thank you guys again so much for coming out, Obama Lizard.
You the
man
as always.
Right there. You the man for coming out as always.
Don't worry, we picked your Spurs to win 6.
We did predict your Spurs to win. I said 5 or 6.
Yeah, I said 6.
No, I said 6.
Yeah, I said
6. But again, thank you so much, guys, for coming out tonight. Thank you for the follow tonight. I believe your name was what? Pugulu. Thank you for the follow, man. But we reached the 50 follower mark before the show, actually. So, yeah to that. Now for the road to 100.
Halfway to 100.
Yep, the road to 100. And so we're looking forward to that. Thank you guys so much. And we're up to 150 on Twitter
hopefully
also.
At some point.
Up to 150 followers on Twitter.
Partnered,
so hopefully at some point. But Twitter's growing, Twitch is growing, so we're going to keep going with that and keep momentum rolling. So thank you guys again. As always, you like what you saw, hit the follow button down below. You know where that button is. Smash the shit out of it. And also smash shit out of the follow button over on Twitter at RealFanReport down there. So hit us up there. Anything you guys want to talk about, let us know.
Also, follow us on Facebook.
Yeah, follow us on Facebook. That's at Real Fan Report also. We also are at Real Fan Report on that as well. If you guys
don't really advertise on Facebook as much, and it's also probably our lowest following.
It is our lowest following. Yeah. But I actually think we have more iTunes downloads with our first 4 shows than we do Facebook likes. But
and if you're wondering about the podcast, I think we're waiting until we get the new mics.
Yeah, probably. Just because the sound quality is a little bit better, and we'll start uploading more, which is coming in the next couple of weeks. So. But again, guys, if you guys, any type of proceeds we get in this stream go straight to back into the stream. I mean, we're doing so much behind the scenes that you guys don't even know about or hear about that we try to build, and we're just going to continue to build the production quality of the stream to make it as wonderful of an experience for you guys.
We got a lot of stuff playing down the road.
We do have a lot of stuff playing down the road, and some of it sooner than others. So look forward to seeing some new stuff come out.
It's gonna be
fun. You've already seen us put into the money for a new camera. We're putting in money for new microphones and all sorts of other stuff too. So we're getting that together. But again, without you guys, well, it's still here, just not as successful and not as fun. So, but it's
without you guys, wouldn't be here because there'd be no point in doing this.
Yeah, true. True. Because this is basically what we do anyway.
We're not gonna talk to ourselves.
But anyways, thank you guys so much again. Hope you guys had a good time. We totally did. So you guys have a good night. Peace out.
Peace.